Dual Cultivation audiobook by Kevin. Chapter 276 Aphrodisiac Candle. After waiting for nearly an entire day, Fang Zhelin finally heard knocking on the doors to her living quarters, and she immediately went to open it. "You wanted to see me." It was obviously Su Yang who was behind the doors. That's right. Although she was expecting to see him, Fang Zhelin couldn't help but feel nervous when in his presence, and she has never felt such a nerve-wracking feeling before. Perhaps it's because she's aware of his true strength, or maybe it's because of this indescribable aura that surrounded Su Yang at this moment, but something about Su Yang is causing her body to feel anxious, almost afraid. "Is it too late for me to be here right now? I can return tomorrow," said Su Yang. "It's fine, I won't be sleeping anytime soon anyway." Su Yang nodded and entered through the doors. Upon entering Fang Zhelin's living quarters, a white ball of fur appeared before Su Yang. It was Xiao Bai, and she was staring at him with eyes filled with intelligence. Fang Zhelin was slightly surprised to see Xiao Bai willingly greet someone. Perhaps she is also aware that Su Yang was the one who saved her, she wondered. Indeed, Xiao Bai recognized Su Yang to be the owner of the presence during the Million Snake Sect's invasion the instant she sensed it. "You seem to be growing properly," said Su Yang after looking at Xiao Bai. After the incident with the Million Snake Sect, Su Yang constructed a concealment formation not just around the sect, but also another one around Fang Zhelin's house. And because she no longer has to worry about Xiao Bai's presence being noticed after being fed, Fang Zhelin has continued to feed Xiao Bai the 7 silver blades for the last week. Counting the one she will be feeding to Xiao Bai tomorrow, Xiao Bai will only need 3 more silver blades, or 12 days, to reach maturity. After hearing Su Yang's words, Xiao Bai approached Su Yang and rubbed her soft head all over his legs like some cat. "All right, Xiao Bai, you can stop now," Fang Zhelin said a few moments later when Xiao Bai did not stop. A little bit later, Fang Zhelin moved Xiao Bai into another room before sitting down in the living room with Su Yang. "So, what questions do you have for me? I can see it all over your face." After hearing Su Yang's words, Fang Zhelin began asking him questions. "You involved that day when the Million Snake Sect attacked?" She immediately went for the question she wanted the answer to the most. "You should already know the answer to that," Su Yang casually responded. Fang Zhelin went silent. Although she had already expected this answer, Fang Zhelin still felt a wave of shock slam into her and overwhelm her mind. A few moments later, Fang Zhelin lowered her body and bowed to Su Yang in a countwing position. "Thank you for saving Xiao Bai in this place." Fang Zhelin thanked him from the bottom of her heart. If it weren't for him, the Profound Blossom Sect might not be here right now, and of course, the people inside it too. Su Yang shook his head and spoke in a nonchalant manner. "I do not need your gratitude, as it is a disciple's duty to protect their own home." Fang Zhelin did not lift her head and continued. "Yet the majority of the disciples have abandoned that duty and fled with their lives. But you remained, even protecting the sect. I am only a disciple, so my words may mean nothing to you, but this is the only place I can call home, and you protected it for me and Xiao Bai." Although it was hidden from sight, tears were in Fang Zhelin's eyes at this moment. "I understand, so why don't you get off the floor already? It is not my taste to see a lady kowtowing before me." Fang Zhelin quickly wiped her tears and stood up. "Anyway, let's get to the main reason why I am here," Su Yang suddenly said. Fang Zhelin did not need Su Yang to explain his words and nodded her head before saying, "Let's go to my room." Su Yang followed Fang Zhelin into her room. Once they entered, Fang Zhelin immediately began loosening her robes without saying any words, seemingly eager to cultivate. Su Yang watched Fang Zhelin slowly reveal her slim body as his nose gets assaulted by the sweet and calming aroma that was nature in this room. In fact, this unique aroma caused Su Yang's little brother to feel more eager than usual to cultivate. "Aphrodisiac candle, huh?" Su Yang immediately recognized the reason for this phenomenon. While aphrodisiac candle may increase one's lust and vitality, its effects are not strong enough to make even the most average mortals lose their reasoning to lust. So such a miscellaneous is often used by people that want a better atmosphere or just want to last longer during sex. Are you displeased with the aphrodisiac candle? Fang Zhelin did not even try to hide that fact and asked him after seeing him standing there with a slightly dazed expression. No, not at all, he quickly replied and continued. It brought back some nostalgic memories, that's all. A few moments later, both Fang Zhelin and Su Yang were fully naked and on the bed. Fang Zhelin, who was already soaking wet and ready, said to Su Yang with dreamy eyes, "Go ahead, my body is already prepared." Su Yang nodded and proceeded to jam his thick rod into Fang Zhelin's tight cave. Ah! Fang Zhelin, who has never moaned this quickly, was shocked by just how hard and sturdy Su Yang's rod, especially how much pleasure she received from just the first thrust. After his initial thrust, Su Yang did not stop for even a moment and continued moving his hips, sending waves of pleasure throughout Fang Zhelin's body with each thrust. What is this? I have never felt such pleasure before. Fang Zhelin cried inwardly as she experienced a whole new world of pleasure, feeling like a mortal who had just ascended from the lower realm to a higher realm. Chapter 277 Rescue Mission. After reaching the heavenly spirit realm, Su Yang's already rich Yang Qi only became even richer. What's more, because of his overwhelming strong Yang Qi, it made Su Yang's little brother emit a kind of profound energy that naturally increases the pleasure his partners feel during cultivation. In other words, even if Su Yang doesn't do anything, his partner will still feel pleasure just from having his rod in their body. Fang Zhelin's entire figure trembled before releasing yin qi from her lower body. Again, he made me come again. After cultivating with Su Yang for half an hour, Fang Zhelin couldn't even remember how many times she has released her yin qi. Ever since she started this path of cultivation, Fang Zhelin has never felt such satisfaction and pleasure from cultivation. Feeling like a frog in a well, Fang Zhelin embraced everything Su Yang graced upon her body. After another half an hour, when Fang Zhelin's body could no longer handle the stimulation, Su Yang released his Yang Qi into Fang Zhelin. Fang Zhelin released a long moan when she felt something warm rush into her hole, quickly filling it. A few moments later, when Fang Zhelin realized the quality of Yang Qi in her body, she stared at Su Yang with wide eyes. This heavenly spirit realm. You can tell, Su Yang smiled. Although she was dazed, Fang Zhelin managed to nod her head in response. As long as you continue cultivating with me, you will without a doubt reach the earth spirit realm before the tournament. Fang Zhelin did not even slightly doubt his words. In fact, she could very well reach the 4th level of the earth spirit realm by the time the regional tournament begins if she continues to cultivate with Su Yang. What's more, after a mere week, the 7 outer court disciples that wanted to enter the regional tournament but was only at the elementary spirit realm has long reached the profound spirit realm after cultivating with Su Yang, and they all expect to achieve the true spirit realm before the regional tournament. After cultivating with Fang Zhelin, Su Yang returned to his own living quarters, where he would continue to cultivate with the disciples for the next few days. During these few days, the Profound Blossom Sect continued to remain silent and inside its own territory. As for the Burning Lotus Sect, they did not mention anything about the Profound Blossom Sect to the outside world and only spoke of their experience with their sect master, as it was instructed by the sect master himself, Su Yang. Whilst he was in the middle of cultivation, Su Yang's communication jade suddenly trembled and Liu Lanjai's voice resounded in his head. Come to the Yin-Yang Pavilion immediately. There is an emergency. Is there something wrong, senior apprentice brother? Su Yang's partner asked him after he suddenly stopped moving. Yes, the sect master just called for me and she sounded quite urgent. Something must have happened. Go ahead, senior apprentice brother. We can finish this another day. Su Yang shook his head and said, 1 minute. After saying those words, Su Yang continued to cultivate. 1 minute later, Su Yang released his yang qi into her body, and the lady was more than satisfied from the session. A few moments later, Su Yang changed his robes and headed to the yin-yang pavilion. Upon arrival, Liu Lanjai and 3 other figures there turned to look at him. Took you long enough, elder son snorted upon seeing him. I was in the middle of cultivation, he casually responded. Anyway, why are we here? Su Yang turned to look at Liu Lanjai, who wore an anxious expression on her face. Liu Lanjai nodded and began explaining the situation. I have forgotten about this because of the Million Snakes sect situation, but our junior disciples are currently outside training, and I just received an urgent call by the sect elders leading them that they are currently in danger, requesting for immediate backup. In other words, it's a rescue mission, and I want the 4 of you to go. Junior disciples. Su Yang raised an eyebrow. Although he did not immediately recognize this term, he quickly searched through his memories. To put it simply, junior disciples are disciples that are underaged, and it is a special role that exists only in the Profound Blossom Sect due to their unique ways of cultivation. What's more, junior disciples are strictly forbidden from engaging in dual cultivation before the age of 16, when they officially become adults, as one can imagine the outrage it would cause if they were allowed to dual cultivate. Where are they currently? Fang Zhelin, who was also there, asked Liu Lanjai. They are currently at the borders between the eastern region and the southern region. Do we know what happened to them? Sun Jingjing, the last member there, asked. Liu Lanjai shook her head. I did not receive any direct messages, only their signal after they destroyed the emergency talisman I gave them. However, even if we don't know the situation, don't underestimate the dangers, as it is something even the sect elders there were not able to handle. How far is it to the borders from here? Su Yang asked. If you start running there now, it should only take a few days. A few days? That's too far away, and by the time we get there, I'm afraid that it might be too late. Sun Jingjing frowned. Liu Lanjai sighed and spoke. Even if we might not make it in time, we cannot just ignore them, as it will be akin to abandoning them, especially when it happened to us not long ago. We just need to recuse them, right? Su Yang suddenly retrieved a small wooden boat and tossed it into the air. The next instant, the wooden boat expanded in size until it became a full-sized wooden boat. What is that? It's even floating in the air. Sun Jingjing asked him with her interest piqued. It's a flying treasure. With this, we will reach our destination much faster. A flying treasure. Both Liu Lanjai and Elder Sun stared at the wooden boat with wide eyes filled with shock. Where did Su Yang obtain such a treasure? Su Yang jumped onto the boat and turned to look at the others and spoke. What are you waiting for? We are in a hurry, right? Get on. Chapter 278. Who are these idiots? However, there's only enough room for 2, so I can only take one of you. I also don't mind going by myself, said Su Yang as he stood in the wooden boat. I will go. Before Fang Zhelin or Elder Sun could even react, Sun Jingjing jumped onto the boat and stood beside Su Yang with an eager expression on her face, and she seemed more interested in the flying treasure than the rescue mission itself. Just the 2 of you. I will not allow it. It's simply too dangerous. Liu Lanjai quickly rejected. Her reason for rejecting was simple. She was worried that they might perish during their rescue mission, and she cannot afford to lose either of them, especially Su Yang, who is the only male disciple. In fact, if it weren't for Fang Zhelin, who stubbornly kept requesting for Su Yang's presence, Liu Lanjai would not have called him here. What's more, what will the 2 of you do when you arrive? This is not something the 2 of you can handle alone. Su Yang merely shrugged and said, I will listen to your complaints later. Right now, there are junior disciples out there waiting to be rescued. After saying those words, Su Yang activated the wooden boat, and within a blink of an eye, they disappeared from the Profound Blossom Sect. Liu Lanjai and the others stood there with a dazed expression after they left, shocked by the flying treasure's ludicrous speed. A few moments later, seeing Liu Lanjai's trembling body, Fang Zhelan spoke. "Sect Master, you don't have to worry about them. Even if Su Yang went alone, he will not die." "How are you so certain about that?" Elder Sun asked with a frown. He also couldn't help but worry that something bad might happen to Sun Jingjing. After all, if Sun Jingjing were to die while in his custody, he will no longer be able to face the Sun clan with a straight face. I just do." Elder Sun stared at Fang Zhelan with wide eyes. He has never seen her like this before. Liu Lanjai also looked at Fang Zhelan with suspicious eyes, thinking to herself, "She definitely knows something that we don't about Su Yang. Anyway, there is nothing we can do now that they have already left." Liu Lanjai shook her head. Elder Sun bit his lips and mumbled, "If anything happens to my girl, I will slice your body and feed it to the dogs even if it's a corpse by then Su Yang." Elder Sun left a little bit later, but his mind is still filled with worry for Sun Jingjing. As for Fang Zhelan, Liu Lanjai had told her to stay, so she remained. "What's the matter, Sect Master?" Liu Lanjai narrowed her eyes and asked her, "Disciple Fang, what are you hiding from me?" Fang Zhelan did not express surprise from Liu Lanjai's question, as she was expecting it after being told to stay. "I think it would be for the best if you didn't know, Sect Master." Fang Zhelan finally shook her head. "How can you be so sure about that?" Liu Lanjai frowned. "I'm sorry, Sect Master, but I cannot say it. That being said, even if I don't say anything, you will find out the truth soon." After a moment of silence, Liu Lanjai snorted, "HMPH. Knowing his character, Su Yang probably told you to remain quiet, right? Fine, you don't have to tell me anything." Although Fang Zhelan decided to keep Su Yang's secret by herself, she did not correct Liu Lanjai and merely accepted it, so she nodded to Liu Lanjai's words. Meanwhile, on a certain wooden boat in the sky, Sun Jingjing clung to Su Yang very tightly with her entire body, looking like a squirrel hugging the tree. The sudden departure in speed had caught her off guard, and her heart nearly popped out of her throat at that moment. "Relax, you won't fall off," Su Yang said to her with a calm smile. Are you sure?" Sun Jingjing asked with a trembling voice. Seeing Su Yang nod, Sun Jingjing slowly released her grasp on him. "Why, you're right. Despite moving midair at this speed, it feels like I am standing on the ground. So this is a flying treasure, huh?" Sun Jingjing's enthusiasm quickly returned and she began looking around. "You are interested in flying treasures?" Su Yang asked her. "I am now," Sun Jingjing nodded. "I have always dreamed of soaring across the sky at high speed, and this experience just fulfilled it." After admiring the blurry view for a few moments, Sun Jingjing spoke. "By the way, how fast will we arrive at the border now that we are using this flying treasure?" "A few minutes," Su Yang casually replied. "A few days into a few minutes, just how fast is this thing going?" Sun Jingjing did not even imagine that such a treasure could exist in this world. It was almost as if this flying treasure belonged to another world. Currently, somewhere between the eastern region and the southern region, in the mountain ranges, 10 large and bulky figures were encircling a large group of small figures, looking like shepherds with all of their sheep in one place. Some of these 10 figures wore expensive-looking clothes, whilst the others wore dirty and damaged clothes. All of them seemed to be from different backgrounds, yet they all shared the same vile aura that only those that have abandoned their morality would emit. Ha 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 ha. "Who are these idiots? To step foot into our Red Mountain bandits' territory, you are only asking to be killed or sold by us." One of the bandits laughed out loud. "Elder brother, look at their clothes. They are from the Profound Blossom Sect." One of the bandits recognized their clothing. "The Profound Blossom Sect, they are still active, and don't they look a little bit too young to be in such a place? Whatever their circumstances are, we are rich." Look at these girls. Although they are still young, all of them have above-average appearances. Even if we can't sell all of them, they will still be of use for us in the future, as they will surely grow up to be beauties. If I recall correctly, we have a few brothers with twisted tastes. They will surely be ecstatic once they see so many young girls to choose from. Ha 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 ha. We have struck gold today, or should I say that heaven has blessed us with gold at our doorstep today. The 10 bandits laughed wildly, looking like a group of crazy people. Meanwhile, the junior disciples from the Profound Blossom Sect trembled in fear, especially the young girls after hearing that they would be sold off or worse, enslaved and used by these twisted bandits for the rest of their lives. Chapter 279 Red Mountain Bandits, You Vile Bandits. If you know our background, then it would be in your best interest to let us go. I have already called for backup. One of the sect elders spoke loudly, feeling quite pressured by the situation. There were 4 sect elders there, all at the true spirit realm. However, the bandits were also between the profound spirit realm and the true spirit realm, outnumbering them by 10 to 4. And when they think about these junior disciples that are only being a burden in this situation, the sect elders felt that their hands were being tied. Of course, the sect elders could easily abandon these junior disciples and save their own lives, but that would go against their morals, not to mention that they will surely be executed by Xianxia if she finds out the truth, which will surely happen. The bandits stopped laughing and exchanged glances. A few moments later, they continued to laugh, but at an even louder volume. Ha 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 ha. Don't tell me that they are unaware of what happened with the Profound Blossom Sect. The sect elders frowned when they heard the bandits. What do you mean by that? Ha 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 ha, they really don't know anything. The bandits laughed even harder. Listen up, you idiots. The Profound Blossom Sect had offended someone they shouldn't have and was destroyed in a single day. What? The sect elders and junior disciples stood there with shocked expressions, their faces filled with disbelief. You are lying. Don't listen to them, disciples. Messing with your heads is what bandits excel at. Whether we are lying or not, you will find out later. And of course, that will be long after we do whatever we want to you. Ha 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 ha. If you don't want to get hurt, then I suggest you stay still when we tie your hands. Brothers, capture them. The 10 bandits began closing in onto the group with wide grins on their faces, looking like a pack of hungry wolves slowly approaching a pack of vulnerable chickens. The 4 sect elders from the Profound Blossom Sect retrieved their weapons. Even if they have to risk their lives, they wanted to protect these young disciples at all costs. Go ahead and struggle all you want. At the end of the day, all of your efforts will be in vain. A few moments later, the 4 sect elders clashed with the bandits. However, due to the difference in numbers, the sect elders, as expected, were quickly suppressed by the bandits. We need to help the sect elders, one of the junior disciples suggested. And what? Get in their way. We are only at the elementary spirit realm. A single slap from these bandits will tear our heads off our necks. Then what should we do? We cannot just sit around and let them capture us. I don't want to be sold. A few of the junior disciples began crying from fear and anxiety. Oi, try not to damage their bodies too much, especially the females. It will decrease their value. Oh, my bad. We don't need everybody to deal with 4 true spirit realm experts. 3 of you can start dealing with the brats. When the junior disciples noticed 3 of the bandits suddenly turned to look at them, their bodies trembled in fear, and some of them even uncontrollably pissed their pants. You bastards! The sect elders wanted to stop these bandits but were obstructed by the other 7 bandits, forcing them further and further away from the junior disciples. Ha ha ha, little brats! Don't worry, I will treat you all properly and play with your body gently later, just like an expensive doll. The bandits laughed. One of them even made a creepy expression while licking his sword. Nuo. The junior disciples began running in all directions, but alas, The three bandits quickly surrounded them in a triangle formation. "Where do you think you little brats are going? If you continue moving around, I might accidentally stab you." The bloodthirsty aura from these bandits at the true spirit realm is not something mere elementary spirit realm children like them can bear, so many of them froze on the spot from fear. "Ha ha ha, look at them tremble. It only makes me want to play with them even more. Enough fooling around. Let's just capture them and get this over with." One of the elder bandits suddenly roared. The other bandits then nodded and stopped laughing. "The Profound Blossom Sect will not forgive you if you touch even a single hair on our disciples. If you let us go now, the Profound Blossom Sect will spare you bandits from total eradication," one of the sect elders said in a last-ditch effort to save them. "We will be looking forward to that," said one of the bandits as he reached out to grab one of the junior disciples that was closest to him. "Ah!" The junior disciple that was suddenly caught cried out loud. "Apprentice Sister Chi." "Let her go, you vile bandit," a few of the junior disciples exclaimed. "If you don't quit squirming around, brat, I will cut off one of your limbs." The bandit spoke in a cold voice, and the junior disciple immediately froze. However, the tears in her eyes continued to flow. Meanwhile, above the clouds, unbeknownst to the Profound Blossom Sect disciples and the bandits, two figures stood on a wooden boat, silently watching this entire situation unfold. The Red Mountain Bandits. Known for their viciousness and lack of morality, they are the most notorious bandits in the southern region. If one were to list all their crimes, it would fill an entire bookshelf. Sun Jingjing watched the junior disciples and their terrified expression from above, feeling powerless. As much as Sun Jingjing wanted to jump down there to help them, she knew that such actions would not help their situation the slightest, as she was only a profound spirit realm expert. 6 of them are within the profound spirit realm whilst the rest are at the true spirit realm. If we go down there right now, we will only be captured by the bandits. Sun Jingjing turned to Su Yang and continued with a worried expression. "What should we do? The situation is worse than expected. If only it's senior apprentice Sister Fang that's here right now instead of me. It's all my fault for getting ahead of myself." She began blaming herself for this situation. However, Su Yang remained silent. A few moments later, Su Yang retrieved a steel sword from his storage pouch and made a throwing position with his body, looking like someone who is going to throw a spear, even holding the sword upside down by the handle like it's a spear. What are you doing?" Sun Jingjing asked him with a dumbfounded face. Su Yang smiled and said, "You'll understand soon." Chapter 280 Ambush from Heaven. After retrieving his sword, Su Yang narrowed his eyes at one of the bandits. The next moment, he made a tossing movement. A light flickered in the sky, and at an incredible speed, the sword in Su Yang's grasp flew towards one of the bandits. However, nobody from below noticed this sword that was flying towards them from the heavens. A few seconds later, before the bandit that was holding one of the junior disciples could even react, a sharp sword tore a hole in his head, instantly killing him. The bandits did not immediately realize that one of their men had died and continued to capture the junior disciples. It was only when the junior disciples started screaming frantically did the bandits notice the corpse on the floor that was missing a face. Brother, what happened?" The bandits began looking around in a panic, trying to figure out where the sword had come from. In fact, they still haven't fully comprehended the situation, especially not the sudden death of one of their men. It's an ambush. Watch out. Coward, come out, you coward." When the bandits began provoking Su Yang, who threw the sword, Sun Jingjing asked him, "What are you going to do now?" "What? That's simple." Su Yang then raised one of his legs and took a step. However, this single step was outside the boat, so his entire body plunged downwards the next second. Su Yang. Sun Jingjing felt her heart skipping beats when Su Yang jumped from the boat without any warnings. At this height, even a heavenly spirit realm expert will die if he falls to the ground. However, in the middle of his fall, Su Yang activated the 9 astral steps, which allowed him to step on air and navigate his ways to the ground safely. In Sun Jingjing's eyes, it seemed as though Su Yang was walking down an invisible stair. Feeling disbelief, Sun Jingjing instinctively rubbed her eyes. What kind of movement technique is that? She stared at Su Yang, who was literally traveling on empty air with his own feet, her eyes filled with admiration. Over there, in the air, the bandit with the highest cultivation base there noticed Su Yang first and immediately warned his fellow men. He's walking in the air. Everybody there watched Su Yang approach them from the heavens with wide eyes, feeling as though they were watching a god's descend. His clothes. He's an inner court disciple from our Profound Blossom Sect. The sect elders were ecstatic to see that backup has arrived. However, none of them had expected it to arrive so quickly, as they gave the signal just a few minutes ago. What's more, nobody there recognized Su Yang's face, nobody except one individual. Senior apprentice brother Su, the girl that had been captured, first looked at Su Yang with eyes that were filled with admiration. In fact, this is not the first time that she has been saved by him, but the second. Upon landing on the ground, Su Yang picked up the sword that was beside the bandit's corpse. Brothers, he is also from the Profound Blossom Sect. But he seems to be alone. Even if he killed one of our brothers, it was a sneak attack. If we band together, we can easily take him down. 5 of the remaining 9 bandits quickly grouped up and encircled Su Yang, who stood there with a nonchalant expression, his gaze not even on the bandits. Seeing Su Yang stand there silently, one of the bandits yelled, "Get him!" At the exact moment the bandits rushed at him, Su Yang activated 9 astral steps, disappearing right before the bandits' very eyes. Where did he go? Shocked, the bandits stopped their movements and began looking around frantically. Whoosh! Suddenly, the sound of clothes ripping apart resounded, and the bandits turned their heads to the direction of the sound. What they witnessed afterward was nothing short of terrifying, as Su Yang, with a single sword strike, sliced one of the bandits in half from top to bottom. After killing the bandit and without allowing the others to react, Su Yang used 9 astral steps once again to get behind another bandit. A second later, another bandit falls to the ground without even being aware that he just died, reducing the total amount of bandits to 7. However, Su Yang was not done yet, so he continued to use 9 astral steps 6 more times, killing 6 more bandits in the time span of a few seconds. In the blink of an eye, before anybody there could even react or comprehend the situation, Su Yang had killed off nearly every single bandit, leaving one left. What's more, Su Yang did not utter a single word this whole time, almost like he had nothing to say to these bandits. The remaining bandit fell to the ground from shock when he realized that he was the only one left alive, even pissing his own pants. The sect elders and junior disciples looked at Su Yang with wide eyes, seemingly in disbelief. Since when did they have such a powerful disciple in their sect? And how is he only a mere inner court disciple? The strength displayed by him today surpasses even most of their core disciples. After killing all but 1 bandit, Su Yang turned to the sky and made a beckoning motion with his hands. A few moments later, a wooden boat descended from the sky with Sun Jingjing standing on it. Disciple Sun. Although they did not recognize Su Yang's face, the sect elders immediately recognized Sun Jingjing. Once the boat fully descended, Sun Jingjing stepped out of the wooden boat. However, she was clueless as to how to react in this situation, especially when she's currently as shocked as these people by Su Yang's performance. She turned to look at Su Yang with eyes that seemed to be asking for help. Su Yang casually smiled and said, "You can return to the sect with them first. I still have some business here." Chapter 281 Bandits hit you / what? / Sun Jingjing looked at him with a puzzled expression. What are you going to do now? / Su Yang turned to look at the bandit that was trembling on the ground and spoke with a cold expression on his handsome face. Bandit hunting, Sun Jingjing was speechless. Why are you going this far? The junior disciples are safe and our recuse mission is a great success. There's no need for you to do all of that. We should return to the Profound Blossom Sect as soon as possible right now. Su Yang shook his head and spoke, indeed. Such actions may not be necessary. However, after watching these guys for some time, they have convinced me that the world would be better off without them. He then turned to look at the bandit and continued, you can either lead me to your hideout and I spare your life, or I can kill you right now and find it myself, not that it'll make that much of a difference. I will guide you, The bandit did not hesitate to betray his fellow bandits to save his own life. There you have it. I will be leaving first, said Su Yang as he followed the bandit. Wait. Can I come, Before Sun Jingjing could even finish speaking, Su Yang stopped her and said, you should stay here and explain to them the situation at the Profound Blossom Sect. I should return by the time you are done, Although she still wanted to follow him, Sun Jingjing remained with the junior disciples. After Su Yang was gone from their sight, Sun Jingjing explained everything to them. From the Million Snake Sect's invasion to the current state of the Profound Blossom Sect, Sun Jingjing told them. No way, so the bandits had spoken the truth after all. The sect elders trembled upon learning the truth. If Su Yang did not arrive to save them, then the bandits would have turned them into products and slaves and nobody would have come to save them. Who is that handsome young man just now? How come I do not recognize someone as powerful as him? One of the sect elders asked. That's senior apprentice brother Su. He has helped me once before and he is also a very kind person. Before Sun Jingjing could even answer, one of the junior disciples stepped forward and said. Sun Jingjing looked at the little girl before her. Chi Yue, that was this little girl's name, and she was one of Su Yang's earliest customers. It appears that you know about him more than me, Sun Jingjing said with a smile. I wouldn't say that, Chi Yue blushed for some reason. What should we do now, one of the sect elders asked. If you want, you can start returning to the Profound Blossom Sect. I will be waiting here for Su Yang to return, said Sun Jingjing. I will also wait for senior apprentice brother Su. I still have to thank him for saving us, Chi Yue said. The sect elders exchanged glances before nodding at each other. We will also wait for his return, then it's settled, Meanwhile, somewhere in the mountain ranges, Su Yang casually followed the bandit to his hideout. After navigating around countless trees and hundreds of booby traps created by the bandits to prevent intruders, they finally arrived at this seemingly ordinary cave. We are here, sir, the bandit said as he stopped walking. A concealment formation hub Although weak and sloppy, Su Yang can sense a concealment formation around this place. Sir. I have betrayed my own comrades by showing you the way to our hideout. Please have mercy. The bandit kowtowed on the ground and begged him while crying his eyes out. However, Su Yang did not even glance at the bandit before swinging the sword in his grasp, killing the bandit instantly by decapitation. After killing the bandit, Su Yang calmly walked towards the cave entrance, acting as if everything was normal. Inside the bandit's hideout was dim and damp, and it strongly reeks of blood and alcohol. Su Yang walked for a few minutes in this long tunnel before reaching a door. Who the hell are you? There was a guard at the entrance, and he immediately raised his weapons upon seeing Su Yang's unfamiliar figure. Seeing this bandit guard, Su Yang did not stop walking and continued approaching the entrance. I asked you a question. Who the fuck are you and what are you doing here? Do you have any idea where Once Su Yang reached a certain distance from the bandit, he flicked his arm, causing the sword in his grasp to disappear for an instant before reappearing. In that instant, the bandit guarding the door was killed, and his blood dyed the metal entrance door. With another arm flick, Su Yang sliced the metal door into many pieces before he casually walked into the real bandit's hideout. Su Yang's loud and forceful entry immediately alerted the bandits inside. There's been an intrusion. Everybody stop what you are doing and kill the intruder. Hundreds of bandits quickly swarmed Su Yang's location. Upon seeing the bandits, Su Yang smiled as he was hoping for such a situation. A bunch of savages that know no elegance. Su Yang raised his sword and pointed it at the bandits. Even if trashes like you suddenly disappear forever, nobody in this world would care. In fact, I am willing to bet that people would celebrate instead. Whose brat is this? Did he hit his head or something? To think there would be a day where we, the Red Mountain Bandits, would be invaded by a mere child, a single person, no less. Ha 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 ha. This is too funny. The bandits no longer felt a sense of urgency and began laughing wildly once they realized that it was only a single child that had invaded them. Laugh all you want now because the next few moments will be your last. The bandits immediately stopped laughing and glared at Su Yang with narrowed eyes, their aura filled with bloodlust. Don't kill him. I want him captured alive, said one bandit. Are we going to torture him? Obviously. We should start with his face, said another bandit. Hearing these bandits spend their last few moments discussing a future that will never exist, Su Yang merely shook his head. A few seconds later, without any warnings, Su Yang activated 9 astral steps, declaring the start of a bloodbath. Chapter 282 Bloodbath. A few minutes have passed since Su Yang made his first move, and over 100 bandits have already perished to the sword in his grasp. Ah! How can someone be this brutal and powerful? This guy is not human. Monster. It must be a monster in disguise. The bandits' hideout echoed with cries filled with horror by the bandits as Su Yang slaughtered them with ease. Be it metal shields or defensive techniques, a single sword strike from Su Yang would cut through them like a hot knife cutting butter, before killing the bandit behind their barrier. Additionally, because Su Yang is using 9 astral steps, the bandits felt as though they were fighting a ghost, as most of them were not even able to see his shadow. Even if they were lucky enough to catch a glimpse of Su Yang's shadow, he would kill them before they can even react. The stench of blood within the bandits' hideout strengthened drastically within mere minutes, as the entire place is littered with corpses and covered in blood. What's more, because the majority of these bandits were at the elementary spirit realm and the profound spirit realm, they were having difficulties breathing due to Su Yang's heavenly spirit realm cultivation base that was suffocating them, weakening their defenses even more. There were also some true spirit realm cultivators, even a few at the earth spirit realm mixed within the bandits. But alas, in front of Su Yang, who was at the heavenly spirit realm like ants, they were all easily crushed. Run. He can't catch us all. The bandits began running for the exit as a last-ditch effort, but alas, there was only one exit, and Su Yang would kill them before any of them could even get close. The Red Mountain Bandits quickly decreased in numbers, and within half an hour their 1,000-strong number has decreased to just a few dozen. P please. Have mercy. What have we done to offend you to deserve any of this? backslash. The remaining bandits dropped their weapons and on their knees, begging Su Yang to spare their lives. Su Yang took a break from slaughtering for the first time since he started and spoke, backslash. How many innocent victims have said the exact same words to you, bandits, before you changed their lives for the worst, backslash, backslash. Backslash. The bandits immediately turned silent. Backslash, I am no hero, nor do I plan on being one. I am not doing this for revenge, nor was I offended by you trashes, backslash. After a brief moment of silence, he continued, backslash, in other words, I am doing this merely for my own satisfaction, backslash, backslash, in no way, backslash. The bandits looked at Su Yang as though they were seeing the devil. After robbing and killing countless innocent people for many years, these bandits have long forgotten the feeling of despair and fear, especially when they are unrivaled in this area. But after meeting Su Yang today, they have finally recalled such feelings. Backslash, if I continue wasting breath speaking to you trashes, my mouth will catch your filth, so just die for me, backslash, backslash, WW8. Let's talk about this, backslash. Heavenly profound chi suddenly exploded from Su Yang's body, and with a single sword technique, hundreds of sword lights shot out from the sword, cutting the remaining bandits into many pieces within a blink of an eye. Backslash. Backslash, the bandits' hideout immediately became dead silent. Su Yang looked at the ground that was covered in blood, then his body that did not even have a drop of bloodstain despite being showered in blood. Backslash, it's been a while since I have taken this many lives in such a short time. Backslash, he sighed inwardly. Although Su Yang's actions today may appear to be brutal and unnecessary, this kind of slaughtering happens almost every day in the cultivation world, sometimes at a much larger scale, and it's usually the innocents getting slaughtered, not bandits that do nothing but harm to both the mortal and cultivation world. In fact, even though he's killed so many people, Su Yang does not feel even the slightest pity or remorse at this moment. Perhaps he might pity those who were innocent and had their lives taken by these bandits, but as far as having emotions for these bandits, there were none in Su Yang's heart. After standing around for a few moments, Su Yang began wandering around this bandit's hideout. Although it does not seem anything impressive from the outside, the actual size of this hideout could be similar to a castle for a king, but built underground, hence how it was able to hold 1,000 bandits at once. There were over 5 floors that went downwards and 100 rooms, yet the most impressive part about this hideout would be that it was clearly handmade. However, whether it was the bandits' efforts or the efforts of those they captured are unknown. After walking around for some time, Su Yang stopped before one of the rooms on the 2nd floor and opened it. Once he entered the room, he was greeted with a cruel scene that would cause even the heart of a heartless man to tremble. Inside this room, there were many females chained to the walls, and none of them were wearing clothes. What's more, most of these females' bodies were bruised and skinny and clearly lacking nutrition. Their eyes were void of light, almost like a soulless doll, but even such dolls have more emotions in their facial expressions than the people in this room, something they lacked entirely. One could easily guess the purpose of this room and why these females are here at glance, but that only made this place more sickening. When Su Yang saw the state of these females and their expressionless faces, even though he didn't know any of them, his heart filled with anger. Backslash, I should not have killed them so quickly. Backslash, he sighed inwardly, slightly regretting his decision to not torture the bandits before killing them slowly. Chapter 283. Look at this. I am still a virgin. Su Yang slowly approached the females. All of the bandits in this place are dead, so you will no longer suffer like this anymore. Su Yang removed the shackles that chained these females to the wall. However, none of them moved even after being freed. Please kill me. After a moment of silence, one of the females there mumbled in a hoarse voice. Kill me too. One by one, these girls begged Su Yang to kill them, as they would rather die than continue living life with the memories they made in this place. Su Yang narrowed his eyes at these girls. There was not even the slightest will to live in any of these girls' eyes, almost like they have already decided to choose death. Before I even stepped inside this room, I have already decided to take all of you out of this place, and that is what I will do. If you still wish to die, do so after we leave this place, because I will not stop you then. The girls turned silent after hearing his words. Take us out, how? We barely have the strength to speak, much less stand up and walk. Su Yang did not say anything else and retrieved his storage ring, before taking out a few pills from inside. These are restoration pills. It will help. Su Yang handed each of the girls a restoration pill that was of flawless quality. But the girls only stared at it. Su Yang shook his head and retrieved some water from his storage ring. He then proceeded to drink some water and feed these girls the restoration pills with his mouth. Some emotions returned to these girls' faces upon feeling the warmth coming from Su Yang's lips as he gently fed them. A few moments after consuming the restoration pills, the girls were able to move properly. After another few minutes, they were all able to stand and walk as though their bodies were healthy. "You can wear these clothes," said Su Yang as he handed them a bunch of clothes that he had picked up on the way to this room. Sometime later, Su Yang and all 6 of these females left the room. There are still other people in this place, and I plan on taking everybody with me, as I do not want them rotting in this place, said Su Yang as he went to the next floor. The girls there did not say a single word and silently followed closely behind him. On the next floor, Su Yang entered another room, and as one should have expected, there were naked females chained to the walls in this room too. And just like before, these females begged Su Yang to kill them. But alas, they all ended up consuming a restoration pill and following Su Yang outside the room just a few minutes later. This exact situation would repeat itself for a few more times until Su Yang reached the deepest floor, which had taken him half an hour to reach. And by that time, there were over 50 girls following behind him. Upon reaching the last floor, Su Yang immediately approached the largest door in the hallway, ignoring the other rooms. Inside this large room, there were a dozen or so steel cages placed beside each other that seemed to be made for large beasts. However, instead of locking beasts inside these prisons, there were humans. But compared to the girls standing behind Su Yang, these people were treated much better by the bandits. The reason for their better treatment was obvious, as the bandits had planned on selling these people in the black market, and damaging their products would only lower their value. When these people first saw Su Yang, their initial thought was that he was one of the bandits' customers, and when the females there noticed how handsome he was, they immediately wanted him to buy them. In their heads, since they are going to be sold regardless, they would rather have a handsome man such as Su Yang as their owner instead of some ugly or greasy individual. That way, their life would not be as miserable when they have to serve them in bed. In fact, most females that are sold in this manner usually become bed warmers after they are sold or forced to prostitution for their owners. "Handsome young man, would you be kind enough to buy this lady? I will do anything you want. Little brother, we both know why you are here. If you take me out of this cold place, I will give you everything that you've ever wanted. Handsome, look at this. I am still a virgin." A few ladies there even made seducing gestures in hopes that Su Yang would be charmed by their body. Su Yang remained nonchalant throughout this scene, and after a moment of silence he spoke. "The bandits in this place are no longer here, and I am here to help you regain your freedom." Su Yang retrieved his sword and began cutting these steel cages as though they were paper boxes, and the people inside these cages stared at him with a dazed expression. After releasing another 40 people in this room without explaining anything else, Su Yang turned around and began walking back the way he came. The 50 girls that had been following him since the beginning continued to follow him in silence. What is going on? Can you explain the situation to us? What happened to the bandits? Somebody there asked. Without stopping his movements, Su Yang spoke. They are all dead and you are now free. No way. They looked at him with a stupefied expression. The infamous Red Mountain bandits have perished. Although this is an outcome that is not completely unexpected due to their infamy, the fact that it took only a single day to destroy a foundation that took half a century to build was shocking to these people, to say the least. After standing around for a few moments to take in the shock, the 40 people in this room also followed Su Yang. Chapter 284. Being true to their hearts, when the group following Su Yang finally reached the first floor, a strong stench of blood and flesh penetrated their nose, and they were shocked by the bloody scene, which resembled a butcher's room. In fact, the place was so gruesome that a few of the people there immediately puked, and someone even fainted on the spot. This is cruel. Although they were bandits and did horrible things to them, these people couldn't help but frown at the scene and the countless mutilated corpses that scattered in every inch of this floor. Su Yang, however, ignored the scene and went straight for the exit, even stepping on the corpses as he walked. The people there looked at Su Yang with a pondering gaze. Did he kill these bandits alone? After all, they have been here for some time now without seeing another individual. That being said, they find it hard to believe that someone as young as Su Yang could possibly be this merciless, much less kill all of these bandits by himself. Meanwhile, the Profound Blossom Sect disciples have been waiting for nearly an hour now. Do you think something happened to him? He did go to the bandits' hideout alone. One of the junior disciples asked. Don't say something that obnoxious. Senior apprentice brother will be fine, Chi Yue said with a frown. Just as she finished saying those words, a figure could be seen approaching them from a distance, and a few seconds later a large group of individuals followed. Senior apprentice brother, Chi Yue immediately ran towards him with a bright smile on her face. Su Yang quickly noticed the small figure running to him and smiled. If it isn't the little one, he said. Are your legs doing fine? Chi Yue nodded. And it's all thanks to senior apprentice brother. Sometime later, Sun Jingjing and the sect elders approached Su Yang. Who are those people behind you? Asked Sun Jingjing. They were captured by the bandits and I released them, that's all. Su Yang then turned to look at the group behind him and spoke. Now that you are free, you may do as you please. If you are thinking of repaying me for saving you today, don't bother. He then looked at the girls that would rather suicide than life and continued. I will keep my words, so if you rather perish than continue living because of some painful memories, I will not stop you even if you do it right now. The place turned silent, and after a moment of silence, Su Yang continued. That being said, if you want, I can erase your painful memories. The girls looked at him with wide eyes. You can do that. Of course. Please help me forget. One of the girls immediately begged him while crying, and others quickly followed. If they can continue living without the memories of their time in the bandits' hideout, living life as though it never happened, then these girls will choose that instead of death. Although his face remained nonchalant, Su Yang smiled inside his heart. Very well, he nodded. Line up before me and I will erase your memories for you. However, in order for me to do that, I will need to see some of your memories if you don't mind. The girls quickly lined up before Su Yang, who placed his hand on these girls' forehead and closed his eyes. And for the next half an hour, Su Yang would use a profound technique to read through these girls' memories before sealing them. Indeed, what Su Yang is doing may not exactly be erasing memories but more of sealing, so it can be reclaimed in the future, something the Su family had done to him. That being said, as long as these girls do not cultivate to the point where they can remove the seal on their memories, they will live life without any of the memories until the day they die. Half an hour later, almost everybody that had been captured by the Red Mountain bandits had their memories sealed by Su Yang. I can't remember anything for the last few months. And me too. I can't recall no matter how much I try. The people there expressed surprise before looking at Su Yang. Although their memories have been sealed, they were still able to remember Su Yang. And while they do not remember what he did to them, they felt nothing but deep gratitude to him. After confirming that their memories have been sealed properly, Su Yang said to the Profound Blossom Sect disciples, "We can now return to the sect." "Huh, what about these people?" one of the sect elders asked. "I have already given them their freedom back. What they do now is no longer my problem." However, before leaving them, Su Yang made sure to give them some gold enough to live the rest of their lives without needing to work. "Su Yang, how should we get back to the Profound Blossom Sect? If we don't use the flying treasure, it'll take us a few days," Sun Jingjing asked him. "Although it'll be a hassle to take many trips back and forth with the flying treasure, it'll definitely be much quicker than traveling on foot." Su Yang looked at Sun Jingjing for a moment before speaking. "What are you talking about? Now that they are no longer in danger, we don't need to be here." Su Yang then retrieved the wooden boat and jumped on it. A few moments later, Su Yang said to Sun Jingjing, who was standing there with a dazed look, "What are you waiting for? If you aren't coming, I will return by myself." I am coming." Sun Jingjing no longer pondered about it and jumped onto the wooden boat with him. "Then we will see you back at the Profound Blossom Sect," Sun Jingjing said to the dumbfounded disciples in a slightly ashamed voice, before the wooden boat disappeared from the location. Once they left the place, Sun Jingjing asked Su Yang, "Can you tell me your reason for not bringing them with us? I don't believe that someone like you would leave them there like that without any proper reasoning." Su Yang remained a calm expression and asked, "Did you explain to them the situation with the Profound Blossom Sect?" "I did." "Everything?" "Yes." "Then did you stop to think that maybe some of them did not want to return to the Profound Blossom Sect after learning that the place they once knew is gone?" Sun Jingjing's eyes widened with shock upon realizing that possibility. Since the Profound Blossom Sect is pretty much abandoned at this state, would these sect elders and junior disciples want to continue being a disciple at such a place? After all, although these junior disciples are considered real disciples by the Profound Blossom Sect, they have not officially become one. As for the sect elders, perhaps they no longer want to remain in a place that has almost no disciples. I left them there so they can decide whether they want to return to the sect or not. As for why I did not tell them this, they can now truly decide for themselves without any influence. In other words, they can be true to their hearts. Sun Jingjing turned silent, yet her gaze that was staring at Su Yang was filled with admiration. To think he'd think so far ahead. Truly admirable. Chapter 285. I have decided on a partner at the Profound Blossom Sect. After receiving Sun Jingjing's message, Liu Lanjai and several sect elders waited for their return at the Yin-Yang Pavilion. "Where are they?" Disciple Sun had sent a message saying that they will be here soon an hour ago, yet they are still not here. One of the sect elders there worried that something bad might have happened to them. "Don't worry, I was recently notified that they will be running a little bit late," Liu Lanjai said to her, and just as she said those words, a wooden boat appeared right above them without making a single sound, scaring the sect elders that did not know what it was. "Calm down," Liu Lanjai smiled when she saw the wooden boat above them. A few seconds later, two figures jumped from the boat and landed before them. "The two of you have done a spectacular job rescuing the junior disciples. Although I won't say that I didn't doubt you one bit, I am glad that both of you managed to return to us in one piece," Liu Lanjai said to them. "Anyway, where are the junior disciples?" Liu Lanjai looked around but found no sight of them, feeling quite puzzled. "We didn't return with them." Sun Jingjing told her the truth. "What?" Both Liu Lanjai and the sect elders looked at her with wide eyes. The junior disciples are still at the borders. Sun Jingjing proceeded to explain the situation to Liu Lanjai and the sect elders. I see. Liu Lanjai sighed with her eyes closed after listening to Sun Jingjing's explanation, feeling totally understanding of the situation. If the junior disciples wanted to leave, she promised to not blame them. Liu Lanjai then turned to look at Su Yang with a frown. After a moment of silence, she spoke. Although I really wish to scold you for your actions today, I can't, as you have not only recused the junior disciples but also those innocent victims inside the bandits' hideout, and for that I thank you. It's nothing much, said Su Yang casually. Now we can only wait and hope that at least some of them will return, Liu Lanjai sighed. Sometime later, Liu Lanjai dismissed everybody there. After the dismissal, Su Yang returned to his living quarters and continued to cultivate. Within a blink of an eye, 4 days have passed since the rescue mission, and not a single junior disciple has returned since then. Perhaps all of them have abandoned us. Sun Jingjing sighed as she practiced sword techniques in her backyard. Who knows? Elder Sun spoke as he looked through the scroll in his hands. While it will be unfortunate for the Profound Blossom Sect if these junior disciples decided to never return, it's honestly not too bad, as there were at most 100 of them. It's not like having an extra 100 will help the sect return to its former glory. That's true, but 100 people will double our current population, so you can't say it's nothing. Sun Jingjing suddenly stopped swinging her sword and asked Elder Sun, "What do you think will happen to the Profound Blossom Sect? Will we survive this predicament or will we perish?" Elder Sun closed his eyes to ponder. After a moment of silence, he spoke, "If I have to be honest with you, I have no clue, and I am sure that other sect elders are in the same shoes. While the Profound Blossom Sect may be rich with techniques and resources, without disciples, such wealth will not amount to anything. What's more, because of how the Profound Blossom Sect cultivates, it will be much harder to find disciples when compared to your average sect, as its cultivation methods will push most people away without giving it a second thought. Then why did you decide to stay here when you could have left? You could have died, you know. By the way, my decision to stay was because of you. This is where I grew up. I simply cannot abandon it, especially if it's in danger." Is that so? What about you? Are you sure that you want to stay here? Instead of being here, you could be elsewhere right now, somewhere that can nurture you properly. Without dual cultivating, there's no meaning in being here. Elder Sun sighed and continued, "The Sun family has been nagging me to convince you to stop following me for the past month, you know. They are even claiming that you are wasting your potential by being here." After a moment of silence, Sun Jingjing smiled and said, "Then they will stop nagging you if I prove to them that I made the right choice by being here, right? And how are you going to manage that? Besides your sword techniques, you have made barely any improvement since coming here." I have decided on a partner to cultivate with," Sun Jingjing suddenly revealed, causing Elder Sun's eyes to widen like eggs. But there's only one person here that could." When Elder Sun came to this realization, he immediately frowned. "No, I object to this. You can pick anyone besides that brat Su Yang. He is the type that will bring nothing but trouble if you get yourself involved with him." "I am sorry, grandfather, but I have already decided." Sun Jingjing did not argue with him, only showing him a confident smile. Hi. Elder Sun sighed loudly. He simply could not even find the energy to persuade her, as there is nobody in this world that knows her stubbornness better than him. Once she decides on something, especially when she smiles like that, not even her parents could change her mind. If that's your decision, then so be it. However, don't come crying to me in the future when things go south, even if you are my precious granddaughter. Don't worry, grandfather. You should know by now that I have keen eyes for people, nor do I make decisions rashly. If you say so. Although Elder Sun shrugged this situation off his shoulders, He couldn't help but worry in his heart. Chapter 286 Bad Influence. Later that day, Elder Sun received news from Liu Lanjai that the junior disciples have returned. Upon hearing the news, Sun Jingjing immediately rushed to the entrance to meet the junior disciples. Wow, there's more than I'd expected. Sun Jingjing was slightly surprised when over half of the junior disciples returned. As for the sect elders, only one had decided to remain in the Profound Blossom Sect, while the other three went elsewhere. Can I ask why you decided to return? You guys are still young, so there are plenty of better choices you can go besides this place, especially in this situation. Liu Lanjai asked them, as she really wanted to know their reasoning for their decisions. A little girl came forward and said, because senior apprentice brother Su had inspired us, and we want to be like him. He inspired you. Although Liu Lanjai wanted to warn these junior disciples that Su Yang may be a bad influence, she smiled and said, if you want to be like him, you will need to practice long and hard. We will. The junior disciples all nodded. However, right after that, one of the junior disciples continued, I cannot wait to cultivate with senior apprentice brother next year when I become an adult. Me too. I still have 5 years to go. When Liu Lanjai heard these comments, her expression turned stiff. At the end of the day, these junior disciples were truly a part of the Profound Blossom Sect. Anyway, because of the situation, I will have you junior disciples move to the inner court for protection until our population rises again. We get to live within the inner court. The junior disciples all celebrated happily. To think they'd get to not just step foot into the inner court but live there before they are even outer court disciples, it was a dream come true. Liu Lanjai then turned to look at the sect elder that remained and said, come with me after this, I have something for you. Yes, sect master. By the way, where is senior apprentice brother? Chi Yue asked when she couldn't see him. He's busy cultivating for the regional tournament, said Sun Jingjing. Sect master, what should we do now? One of the junior disciples suddenly asked, what do you mean? Since all of the disciples and sect elders are gone, who will be giving us lectures from now on? Him. Liu Lanjai closed her eyes to ponder, as she did not think up to this point yet. In order to become a lecturer, one must have knowledge and skills regarding dual cultivation, so that these junior disciples will know what to do once the time comes. Of course, this role is not limited to just sect elders, as anyone with the ability to lecture can participate. In fact, there have been core disciples and inner disciples giving lectures before. I know. A flash of enlightenment sudden occurred in Liu Lanjai's mind. I have yet given Su Yang his punishment for slapping me in the face. I will have him lecture them for a few days and see how it goes. He's incredibly skilled and knowledgeable, so the results may be surprising. Since you all look up to Disciple Su, why don't I have him be your lecturer for a few days? She asked them. When these junior disciples heard that, their eyes immediately glowed with delight. We get to be lectured by senior apprentice brother. Chi Yue was slightly dazed by this news. Now that it's settled, we will have to arrange your living quarters as soon as possible. For now, you can just hang around here. A few minutes later, Liu Lanjai left the place with the sect elder, leaving the junior disciples behind to chatter with each other until they are given their new living quarters. Meanwhile, when Lan Liking heard the news about the returning disciples, she immediately went to their location. Upon seeing Chi Yue, Lan Liking immediately went to hug her. I knew you would have stayed, Chi Yue laughed and said, because I knew that Sister Lan would also be here. Anyway, I heard that you were captured by bandits. Are you okay? Lan Liking asked just in case. Of course. Senior apprentice brother Su came in at the perfect time and killed all of the bandits before we could even react. I can't wait to grow up and cultivate with him too. Is that so? Lan Liking didn't know whether to laugh or cry at her innocence. Then you better work hard for the next 4 years. Chi Yue nodded. A few more days have passed since the junior disciples returned. Xiao Bai will be consuming the last blade of the 7 silver blades after this. Can you be there with me when it happens? The sect master will also be there. Fang Zhelin asked him as she covered her naked body with clothes after their cultivation session. Naturally. Su Yang quickly agreed, but he was going to be there regardless if she asked or not, just in case something went wrong. Sometime later, Su Yang followed Fang Zhelin to her living quarters, where Liu Lanjai was already waiting. So you really brought him along, huh? Liu Lanjai looked at Su Yang with a nonchalant expression. It was not as though she did not expect him to be there. Once they entered the house, Fang Zhelin called for Xiao Bai, who immediately answered her call. Xiao Bai, this is the last one I have for you. Fang Zhelin retrieved a pot with only a single blade of silver grass in it. However, in contrast to its usual reaction and excitement, Xiao Bai expressed a sorrowful look, even showing reluctance to eat the silver grass, as it clearly did not want this to be her last meal. What are you waiting for, Xiao Bai? You will not grow up to be an adult if you don't eat this. Fang Zhelin shoved the blade of grass directly in front of Xiao Bai's face. Seeing this expected situation, Su Yang smiled and spoke. You may think that the 7 silver blades will be the best thing you'll ever eat, but there are even more delicious resources out there that you can only eat once you are an adult. Xiao Bai's eyes flickered with excitement after hearing his words, and without further ado, Xiao Bai immediately ate the last of the 7 silver blades from Fang Zhelin's hands in one bite. Chapter 287. Reaching maturity. The room turned dead silent after Xiao Bai consumed the last of the 7 silver blades, and not wanting to disturb her, they even moved to the corner of the room, where they watched for any changes in Xiao Bai. However, when nothing has happened after waiting for many minutes, Liu Lanjai expressed her doubts. What's going on? How come nothing is happening? We have been waiting for half an hour now. I don't know, Fang Zhelin shook her head. They then turned to look at Su Yang, their only chance for an answer. Although you can't physically see it, she's already in the process of maturing. Su Yang spoke. She is. They turned to look at Xiao Bai, who was just sitting there with her eyes closed, looking like a stone state. After waiting for a few more minutes, Su Yang narrowed his eyes and said, "It's here." The second after Su Yang said that, Xiao Bai opened both its eyes and mouth and released a deafening roar, one that surpassed any previous roars. The pressure from the roar was so powerful that both Liu Lanjai and Fang Zhelin kneeled on the ground, feeling as though they were suddenly carrying a large boulder. However, despite all this, Xiao Bai was just getting started. As time went on, Xiao Bai's roar only became more powerful and profound to the point where Fang Zhelin coughed up a mouthful of blood. Seeing this, Su Yang covered Fang Zhelin in a layer of his profound qi, making it feel as though she was wearing a veil over her body. Thank you. Fang Zhang wiped the blood from her mouth. Su Yang did not say anything and continued to watch Xiao Bai. Guardian spirits are indeed terrifying creatures loved by the heavens. Even though it's only a low-rank guardian spirit, its prowess can conquer this world with ease. After a few more minutes of torturing from Xiao Bai's roaring, she finally calmed down. Both Liu Lanjai and Fang Zhelin looked at the new Xiao Bai. However, when they noticed no drastic changes in Xiao Bai, they became worried. What's going on, Su Yang? Besides her size that increased slightly, it's almost like nothing's changed. Did the maturing fail? Liu Lanjai asked him with a worried face. What are you talking about? This snow tiger is fully matured now, he responded. What? Xiao Bai is mature now, but she looks the same, only slightly bigger. They were still doubtful. Su Yang shook his head and said, its appearance will mature naturally, so it will not become a full-sized tiger within minutes. He then continued, take a look at its cultivation base and you will understand. Liu Lanjai and Fang Zhelin placed their hands on Xiao Bai to feel her cultivation base. as that's the only way for most people to gauge a guardian spirit's cultivation base properly due to their natural ability to conceal their presence and profound qi. Earth Spirit Realm, they both exclaimed simultaneously a few seconds later. No way! Xiao Bai was only at the 4th level of the true spirit realm before eating the last 7 silver blades. Fang Zhelan expressed her disbelief. You are already this shocked by such a minor detail. At this rate, you won't be able to handle her next maturity, Su Yang suddenly said. What do you mean by that? Didn't you just say Xiao Bai is already mature? That's indeed what I said. However, a snow tiger has 2 stages of maturity, and Xiao Bai is only at her first. What? Fang Zhelan and Liu Lanjai's eyes widened like saucers. How come he's just telling them such an important piece of information now? You must be wondering why I am telling you this now. It's simple, the chances of Xiao Bai reaching her second maturity is near 0. How would you know that? Liu Lanjai asked. Because the amount of profound qi it will need to reach that point is atrocious, and this place is simply unable to fulfill that requirement. When Su Yang said place, he didn't mean this Profound Blossom Sect, nor did he mean this Eastern continent. Instead, it meant this world that does not even 1,000th of what the 4 divine heavens can supply in cultivation resources. In other words, just like Kiyu with her cultivation, no matter how much Xiao Bai cultivates, as long as she stays in this world with inferior profound qi, she will never reach her full potential. And this is a problem that cannot be fixed even with Su Yang's vast knowledge and experience as an immortal. That being said, she will be more than powerful enough to protect this place from all kinds of danger in the future. At the Earth Spirit Realm, it will handle even Heavenly Spirit Realm cultivators with ease. Xiao Bai is that powerful right now. On Liu Lanjai's face was a delighted expression, as having Xiao Bai is akin to having a Heavenly Spirit Realm expert in their sect. Well, not exactly right now. Without any combat experiences, even the most powerful entities are nothing in front of the experts. If she was to fight a Heavenly Spirit Realm cultivator right now, she will only face defeat. Su Yang pointed at Xiao Bai and said to Fang Zhelan, you should take it out to the wild once in a while to fight with beasts so it can accumulate fighting experiences. It'll be an important aspect in her future growth, especially now that she's matured. Are you sure that's a good idea? A guardian spirit will attract unnecessary attention. It was Liu Lanjai who expressed that worry first. It'll be fine. As long as you don't come across someone with a unique vision technique or an individual with knowledge regarding snow tigers, nobody will recognize it. In fact, if anyone asks, just say it's a silver tiger, as they are quite similar. Is that so? After a moment of pondering, Liu Lanjai nodded and spoke. I have decided. Disciple Fang, you are to take Xiao Bai outside for training whenever possible. This will be beneficial to not only our sect but also Xiao Bai herself, as she will be able to learn to protect herself. Fang Zhelan did not have any problem with this and nodded. I understand, Sect Master. Chapter 288. Tasting Sun. Jingjing. Su Yang and Liu Lanjai left Fang Zhelan and Xiao Bai alone a few minutes later. Su Yang, wait a moment. Liu Lanjai stopped him before he could leave fully. What's the matter, Sect Master? Have you changed your mind and decided to scold me for what happened a few days ago? Su Yang asked with a smile on his face. HMPH. Although I won't punish you for that, I still haven't forgotten about what you did to my face, and I sure hope that you haven't forgotten about it either. Su Yang raised an eyebrow, wondering what she's referring to. After a quick moment of pondering, he finally recalled that incident where he slapped her face to wake her up from her seemingly eternal slumber. Oh, that, what of it? He casually responded. I am going to give you your punishment right now. Su Yang did not say anything and waited for her to continue. As punishment for slapping my face, I will have you lecture the junior disciples for a few days. Su Yang raised his eyebrows again. He will be lecturing the junior disciples. Shouldn't it normally be sect elders in this role? Are you sure that you want me, an inexperienced and illiterate disciple, to lecture the future of this sect? Su Yang asked. When Su Yang put it like that, it made Liu Lanjai rethink her decision. However, after recalling the slick man that is Su Yang, she spoke. Although I call it a lecture, you won't need to write or read for this, so it'll be fine. In fact, the topic of the lecture will all be decided by you, the instructor. So I can make the lecture anything I want it to be. That's right, Liu Lanjai nodded. However, that being said, the topic should remain in our field of expertise, which is dual cultivation. That's fine, it's not as if I know anything else. Su Yang shrugged with a smile. So, when do I start? And how many lectures do I need to give? I don't care when you decide to give these lectures, but there should be at least once a week. As for how many? After pondering for a moment, she continued, 7. I want you to give 7 lectures. You can do all of it within a week, or you can extend it to 7 weeks. As long as you complete 7 lectures, I will forgive you for slapping my beautiful face. Su Yang did not refute at all and nodded. Very well, I shall give these junior disciples even lectures. Unbeknownst to Liu Lanjai, Su Yang had already considered teaching these junior disciples a thing or two before she came to him. In fact, even without this punishment, he would have gone to her and asked for permission to teach these junior disciples. His reasoning for wanting to teach these junior disciples was simple. He felt that the overall quality of dual cultivation in this place was lackluster, especially for a place that specializes in it, so he wanted to kick the standards up a notch or two. As long as you understand, just use this jade slip to notify them of the date you will be giving the lecture. Liu Lanjai left him alone after giving him a jade slip. On the way home, Su Yang pondered how he should lecture the junior disciples. On-hand experience will be impossible considering their age, but there are plenty of other methods to teach them. After returning home, Su Yang began preparing materials for the lecture. On the following day, an unexpected visitor arrived at Su Yang's living quarters. Su Yang, are you free right now? Sun Jingjing, who stood outside his door, asked him. I am. That's good, Sun Jingjing nodded. After a moment of silence, she continued, then would you like to cultivate with me? Su Yang raised an eyebrow, feeling slightly surprised by her sudden approach. You don't want me as a partner? Sun Jingjing asked after receiving no answer for a few seconds. Su Yang chuckled and spoke. I was just slightly surprised due to it being so sudden. Come inside, I will gladly cultivate with you. Once they went inside, Sun Jingjing sat on his bed with a stiff expression, seemingly nervous about the situation. In fact, this is the first time in her life that she's ever been this nervous. To tell you the truth, I am still pure, so this will be my first time. Sun Jingjing decided to tell him the truth, something he already knew since the first day he met her. And you decided to choose me as your first partner. I'm flattered. Sun Jingjing blushed at his words. Sometime later, once Sun Jingjing had prepared her heart, she began removing her robes. A few moments later, once they were both naked, Sun Jingjing approached Su Yang. Although I have zero experience in this, it's not as if I know nothing. Sun Jingjing went to grab Su Yang's already stiff little brother and began stroking it gently with her smooth hands. Next, she moved her mouth closer to the tip and began licking it. Once she familiarized herself with this sensual feeling, Sun Jingjing opened her mouth wide and accepted Su Yang's thick rod into her mouth. And for the next few minutes, Sun Jingjing would not think about anything besides the stiff rod that was in her mouth, almost like she had grown addicted to it. MMM, MMMMM, MMMMMMM. While Sun Jingjing savored every corner of his little brother, Su Yang thought to himself, not bad for her first time. Although she was rough and forceful at first, Sun Jingjing quickly learned to use her mouth pleasantly, and within mere minutes, she was sucking on Su Yang's rod as though she was an expert. After another few minutes, Su Yang said to her, let me pleasure you now. Sun Jingjing nodded and laid on the bed, not even bothering to cover her beautiful body. She had medium-sized breasts, a slim and untainted body, and a delicious-looking flower that was ready to be plucked at any moment now. However, Su Yang did not immediately penetrate her and decided to taste her wet little cave with his mouth first. Ah! Sun Jingjing gasped from shock as Su Yang's lips gently pressed against her cave, and within moments, she felt as though she just entered heaven, screaming and moaning in delight. Chapter 289, The Sun Family Will Not Allow It. Ah! Ah! It hasn't even been 5 minutes since Su Yang began licking her little sister, and Sun Jingjing was already out of breath from all the screaming and moaning. "Do you need a break?" Su Yang asked her a few minutes later. Sun Jingjing wiped the tears of pleasure from the corner of her eyes and shook her head. "Please, continue." Su Yang nodded and stood up. He then pressed the tip of his rod into Sun Jingjing's tight hole before tearing the seal that preserved her purity apart with one strong thrust. Ah! Feeling her cave being ripped open by Su Yang's monster, Sun Jingjing cried out loud. "So this is dual cultivation." Sun Jingjing closed her eyes to feel the profound feeling that was circulating all over her body. Ah, ah. Su Yang drilled Sun Jingjing's hole continuously for the next half an hour, and it felt like he was digging a well, as there was water constantly leaking and spraying from the hole. After a few more minutes of dual cultivation, when Sun Jingjing seemed to be at her limit, Su Yang released his Yang Qi into her. Sun Jingjing's body trembled and also released the last drop of Yin Qi that was within her. A few moments of silence later, Sun Jingjing asked him, "Can I come again?" "Anytime you want," responded Su Yang with a smile. Sometime later, after Sun Jingjing left Su Yang's living quarters, she went to meet with Elder Sun. You really did it, huh?" Elder Sun instantly recognized the change in her aura and sighed deeply. "That's right, I cultivated with him." Sun Jingjing nodded, her voice even filled with a sense of pride. "Do you regret it?" Elder Sun asked. After a moment of silence, Sun Jingjing smiled and said, "I regret not meeting him earlier in my life." Elder Sun's eyes widened from surprise. "Grandfather, I have decided." Sun Jingjing suddenly said. What do you mean by that?" Elder Sun asked. "I want to continue our lineage with him. I want to bear his child." "What? This is too sudden." Elder Sun immediately stood up from his seat and exclaimed loudly. "Cultivating with him is one thing, but bearing his child, you have no idea what you're talking about. The Sun family will not allow it, and you are still too young." Elder Sun strongly rejected Sun Jingjing's idea. However, Sun Jingjing remained calm and said, "I never said that it will be any time soon. By the time I want to bear his child, the Sun family will definitely be supportive." "What makes you so confident that the family will accept it?" Elder Sun frowned. "In the cultivation world, power is of the utmost importance, even more important than appearances and status. And knowing the Sun family that is always chasing after fame or power, once they learn of Su Yang's existence, it will only be natural for them to chase after him. That brat is powerful. Although I admit that he is someone with a special characteristic, it does not amount to being powerful." Sun Jingjing shook her head and spoke. "You did not see the way he handled those bandits. In fact, I purposely skipped a few details about that day." Elder Sun's frown only became deeper. "What do you mean by that?" Elder Sun recalled Sun Jingjing's explanation on the day of the rescue mission, but he couldn't figure out what she purposely hid. "During my explanation, I only mentioned that there were a few bandits. However, if it was just a few bandits, why were the 4 sect elders unable to handle them? That is simply because they were all at the true spirit realm and the profound spirit realm." "What did you say?" Elder Sun couldn't believe that he had missed something like this. What's more, even the sect leader and the other sect elders also missed it. Su Yang, being only at the profound spirit realm, managed to kill all 10 bandits by himself and with ease, and half of them were at the true spirit realm. an entire realm about his own cultivation base. That is something even grandfather, who is at the peak of the true spirit realm, cannot easily achieve. As for the bandits' hideout, I cannot even imagine how he saved those people from such a place. Elder Sun turned silent, but it was not because he was shocked. Instead, he was pondering something Sun Jingjing had said just now. If I recall correctly, you said the bandits were named the Red Mountain Bandits, right? Although I have only heard of them once because they operate mostly within the southern region, it was a story where 1,000 of these bandits had raided an entire city, stealing everything before burning it to the ground. 1,000? Are you sure about that number, grandfather? Sun Jingjing expressed her doubts, as even she cannot believe that Su Yang could have dealt with 1,000 bandits at once. Elder Sun nodded. I can do some research on them, but I am certain that they are a large group of bandits, if not one of the largest within the southern region. But no matter their number, just his feat of defeating those 10 bandits alone is praiseworthy, even if he's not at the profound spirit realm. Are you implying that Su Yang may have already surpassed the profound spirit realm and entered the true spirit realm? Sun Jingjing questioned. I cannot be certain because he's always hiding his profound chi, but his aura is not something a mere profound spirit realm should have. I would not be surprised at all if he's already reached the true spirit realm. Although Elder Sun is not aware, Su Yang has not been concealing his profound chi at all. The reason Elder Sun could not see his profound chi and came to the assumption that Su Yang is hiding his profound chi is simply because of the huge disparity between their cultivation bases. Wait, you cultivated with him, right? Can't you tell his cultivation base from his yang chi? Elder Sun suddenly asked. Sun Jingjing smiled bitterly and said, This is my first time coming in contact with yang chi, and you expect me to know such a technique. Anyway, it does not matter if he is at the profound spirit realm or the true spirit realm. I have already decided to dedicate my life to him, and neither you nor the Sun family will change that. Looks like I will have to visit the Sun family later. Elder Sun thought to himself while sighing inwardly. Thank you for listening to the story on KevinAudio.com, Chapter 290, Lecturing the Junior Disciples on the Same Day. A few hours after Su Yang cultivated with Sun Jingjing, another unexpected individual made an appearance before Su Yang. Su Yang, I'd like to personally thank you for saving the junior disciples, especially Chi Yue, whom I've known for a very long time now. I cannot imagine what would have happened to her if you didn't save her from the bandits. Lan Liking bowed to Su Yang with an earnest expression. I was simply doing my job as a disciple of this place. There's no need to be humble. Lan Liking smiled, and she continued, By the way, are you free right now? It's been a while since we last cultivated, you know. Although I would love to cultivate with you right now, I am actually going to the lecture hall right now, so if you don't mind waiting until afterward. The lecture hall, which sect elder is giving lectures right now? Lan Liking was certain that no sect elders were giving lectures at this time. I am the one that will be giving the lectures. What? Who will you be lecturing? Lan Liking looked at him with wide eyes. The junior disciples, as the sect master had instructed. The sect master ordered you to lecture the junior disciples. Why would she do that? A punishment for a small mistake I made, Su Yang casually smiled. Anyway, I have already notified the junior disciples of the lecture, and I am heading there now. Do you mind if I come too? Lan Liking asked, feeling quite interested in how Su Yang will be lecturing these kids. That's fine, it'll be a public lecture anyway. Lan Liking nodded and followed Su Yang to the lecture hall in the inner court, as that was where the junior disciples are all gathered. Sometime later, when Su Yang arrived at the lecture hall, around 70 junior disciples greeted him. Good morning, senior apprentice brother. The junior disciples were slightly surprised to see Lan Liking there too. Will she also be partaking in this lecture? This disciple greets Elder Lan. "I am only here to watch," said Lan Liking as she walked to the back of the lecture hall. A few moments later, once everybody was seated, Su Yang walked to the stage and spoke calmly. "Good morning, disciples. My name is Su Yang, and I will be your instructor today. Before I start my lecture, I have a question for all of you. What is the purpose of dual cultivation?" A few junior disciples immediately raised their hands. "You." Su Yang randomly picked one of them. "Yes." The junior disciple stood up and began explaining. "The purpose of dual cultivation is to cultivate." A simple and correct answer, but dual cultivation is much more than just that. It's a bonding between two individuals, one that will last an eternity if you do it properly. "How do we do it properly?" someone asked. "That would be through pleasure. The more you are able to please your partner, the stronger that bond will become. After all, if you cannot please your partner, they will simply find someone else who can. Thus, pleasure will be the main topic of today's lecture." Lan Liking, who has been silently watching the lecture, couldn't help but feel amazed by Su Yang's calm and smooth lecture. Even though it's only just started, she can tell that Su Yang has a profound experience in lecturing others. His calmness, the profound aura that surrounds him when he speaks, it's almost like he's been doing this for many years. Lan Liking began wondering if Su Yang was a great teacher in his past life. There are many types of pleasure in this world, but I will be focusing on the type of pleasure that affects your body physically. Su Yang then randomly picked one of the junior disciples, who was a male, and asked him, "How would you pleasure your partner?" By caressing her body gently." "Ho, and which part of her body will you be touching?" "The lower part," the junior disciple replied with a doubting voice. Su Yang shook his head. "If you can only please a woman by touching that area, you are the definition of mediocre." Su Yang then turned to look at Lan Liking and spoke. "Elder Lan, if you don't mind, would you come up here so I can demonstrate something to these young disciples?" Lan Liking did not think too much and nodded. A few moments later, when Lan Liking stepped onto the stage, Su Yang whispered in her ears, "This will be quite stimulating." "Eh, what are you going to do to me in front of all these junior disciples?" Lan Liking became hesitant, as she did not want to show them anything embarrassing. "Don't worry, I won't do anything weird." "If you say so." Su Yang then stood directly behind Lan Liking and placed his hands on her back. Lan Liking's body trembled when she felt Su Yang's fingers caress her back. Despite wearing robes, it felt as though she was naked when being touched by him. The next moment, Su Yang pressed one of his fingers in specific locations on Lan Liking's back, pushing his fingers deep into her skin. "Ah!" Lan Liking released an uncontrollable moan when a sudden wave of pleasure assaulted every inch of her body, and she fell to her knees a second later. The junior disciple's eyes widened at the scene. What just happened? Why did Lan Liking react the way she just did? All Su Yang did was poke her back with one of his fingers. "Elder Lan, if you don't mind, why don't you tell these disciples here what kind of feeling went through your body just now?" Su Yang said to her. After taking a moment to calm down, Lan Liking mumbled in a voice that was barely audible. "It was a feeling that made my entire body feel weak and sluggish, but it was an extremely pleasurable feeling." Wow! The junior disciples expressed awe upon witnessing Su Yang's techniques. He managed to force a sect elder to her knees from pleasure with just a single finger. Chapter 291, Fingers of Fulfillment. As you have just witnessed, there are other places you can use to please your partners, even if it's a spot that seems completely innocent and uncommon. As long as you have the technique, you can please your partner without touching their sensitive parts. The junior disciples forcefully swallowed their saliva, feeling a strong desire to learn this technique. However, in order for you to fully understand it, I will have all of you here experience it for yourselves, this technique. Su Yang pointed to the junior disciple that was the closest to him and said, "I want everybody to line up behind her, and when it's your turn, come up to the stage." The junior disciple who was first in line eagerly went onto the stage. "And to make this even more exciting, if you manage to stay on your feet after experiencing my technique, I will reward you with 100 spirit stones." 100 spirit stones. The junior disciples were shocked by Su Yang's generosity. Although 100 spirit stones may not seem a lot, it was enough resources for them to cultivate without non-stop for the next year or two. "I will begin now." Su Yang slowly moved his hand towards this junior disciple's back, before poking a specific spot on her back with a single finger. "Ah!" The junior disciple suddenly felt a profound feeling overwhelm her body, causing her entire body to fall on the floor, almost like she'd just been shocked by electricity. The other junior disciples watching felt their jaws hit the ground after witnessing this scene. This 100 spirit stone might actually be much harder to obtain than they initially thought. "Are you okay?" Su Yang asked the junior disciple as he helped her get back on her feet. What was that feeling? The junior disciple couldn't stop her body from trembling as the aftereffects were still present. In fact, the feeling had stimulated her body so much that she'd pissed herself a little bit. Once the first person experienced Su Yang's technique, the next person went on the stage. Ah! Unlike the first disciple who barely managed to control her bladder, the second junior disciple not only fell to the floor, but also straight up pissed herself after experiencing Su Yang's godly finger-poking skills. "You can go to your room and clean yourself before returning," said Su Yang. But I don't want to miss the lecture." "You don't have to worry about that because I will not start the lesson until everyone returns." Such words meant that Su Yang was expecting plenty more junior disciples to piss themselves. "Okay." The junior disciple nodded and left the lecture hall to clean herself. Taking at most a minute of time for each disciple, Su Yang managed to have all 70 disciples there experience his techniques within half an hour. At the end of this demonstration, the number of disciples that managed to remain standing after being poked in the back by Su Yang was unsurprisingly 0. Once all of the junior disciples have returned after leaving to clean themselves, Su Yang asked them, "Tell me what you learned from this experience." The junior disciples exchanged glances. Besides learning what true pleasure felt like, they couldn't think of anything else. After a moment of silence, a little girl raised her hands. "That's my little girl." Lan Liking smiled inwardly when she noticed Chi Yue raise her hands. "Go ahead." "I have noticed that the places you poked were all different for everybody. Maybe each person has a different pleasure spot." Su Yang smiled and nodded. "Excellent observation." And since he didn't really expect anyone here to notice that point, Su Yang decided to reward Chi Yue for her achievement. "Here's 100 spirit stones." Su Yang casually threw a bag of spirit stones towards Chi Yue, who frantically went to catch it. The other junior disciples looked at her with envious gazes, regretting that they weren't the one who noticed. "Don't worry, there will be plenty more chances for you to earn something during my lectures." The junior disciples immediately became hyped, and their focus for the lectures became much more serious. What an expensive carrot he is using to keep these junior disciples serious about his lectures. Lan Liking's eyes were wide open from shock when Su Yang casually handed a junior disciple 100 spirit stones. That's already more than her annual salary, and just from answering a mere question correctly. Lan Liking could not think of any sect elders that would be rich and crazy enough to use this tactic. However, this kind of unpredictable behavior is only a fraction of what she loves about Su Yang. Like she said just now, everybody has a different vital spot, but that's not all, as there are usually more than one of these spots on any given individual. Su Yang continued with the lecture. "Now that all of you have seen and experienced the technique firsthand, I will be giving everyone here a chance to learn it." After saying those words, Su Yang waved his sleeves, causing 70 pieces of paper to appear and fly towards the junior disciples. On that piece of paper is a technique that will allow you to sense and awaken these vital spots, causing intense pleasure to those experiencing it, and its name is Fingers of Fulfillment. It is said that this technique was created by the god of pleasure, and if you treat it carelessly or recklessly, the god of pleasure will curse you for an eternity, depriving you of pleasure for life. The junior disciples forcefully swallowed their saliva upon hearing such a background to this profound technique. With that said, all of you are to study this technique for the next hour before I test your comprehension skills immediately afterward. The junior disciples wasted no time and immediately delved into the technique. All of them wanted to impress Su Yang, but even more, learn this technique that may very well change their lives forever. Chapter 292, A Special Reward. This Fingers of Fulfillment technique, is that what you have been using during your massages? Lan Liking walked beside Su Yang and asked him as the junior disciples studied. Sort of, Su Yang smiled. Lan Liking shook her head inwardly. A technique created by the god of pleasure. It's no wonder why Su Yang's massages feel out of this world. An hour later, Su Yang clapped his hands and said loudly, "It's been an hour now." Although they were fully focused on the technique and did not want to stop, the junior disciples stopped studying and lifted their heads to look at Su Yang. Each of you here will pair up with someone of the opposite gender and use the Fingers of Fulfillment on them. Of course, due to the uneven ratio of male and female, if you do not have a partner, just make do with someone. A few minutes later, after scrambling around trying to find their friends, the junior disciples all found their partners. If you are standing on my right side now, you will be going first, and the other individual will face you with their backs. The junior disciples followed his instructions and quickly got into position. Good. Now I want those of you on the right side to find the vital spot on your partner and poke that spot, and you a minute before switching positions with your partner. The junior disciples wasted no time and immediately began looking for the vital spots on their partners. A few of these junior disciples that had grasped the Fingers of Fulfillment to a certain extent within that hour took just a few seconds to locate the vital spot on their partner. However, the rest of these junior disciples did not manage to locate this vital spot even after spending an entire minute. Some of these junior disciples even poked a random spot on their partner's back in desperation, hoping that they'd guessed correctly. However, Su Yang easily saw through their bullshit. That being said, he did not say anything and continued to watch these disciples. A minute later, Su Yang spoke, "Now switch positions." After the junior disciples swapped positions, Su Yang gave the starting signal, and these junior disciples immediately began searching for their partner's vital spot. When this short minute was over, Su Yang clapped his hands and spoke, "Stop." The junior disciples turned to look at him. The majority of you were not able to locate your partner's vital spot, but you should not be discouraged over this result. As for those of you who were able to locate your partner's vital spots, if I were you, until you can instantly see these vital spots, I wouldn't be celebrating yet. In fact, although you located their vital spot, you were unable to awaken it, bringing pleasure to them. Unless you can do both of these things, you have not learned the Finger of Fulfillment yet. Suddenly, one of the disciples raised her hand. "What is it?" "Senior apprentice brother, how far can one achieve with this technique?" Hearing this question, a mysterious smile appeared on Su Yang's face. Although it may seem simple and straightforward, this technique is actually infinitely profound and deep. In fact, if you can master it, then you can bring even gods down to their knees with a single finger. The junior disciples believed that Su Yang was exaggerating this technique to make it seem more impressive. If only they knew that Su Yang was speaking from experience. Anyway, this marks the end of today's lecture. Keep cultivating the technique I gave you today, and we will meet again next week at the same time, where there will be another test. A. The junior disciples expressed surprise when they heard his words. Again, he will be lecturing them again. This isn't a one-time thing, someone asked. Including today's lecture, I will be doing 7 lectures over the course of the next few weeks, said Su Yang. The junior disciples immediately jumped in excitement upon hearing this news. It should be obvious by now that these junior disciples are quite fond of Su Yang and being taught by their savior, and idle only made the lessons more enjoyable. With that being said, they also found today's lecture very informative and profound. In fact, this is the most they've ever learned ever since becoming a junior disciple. What's more, they even gained a new and precious technique that greatly suits this kind of place. Oh, one more thing. During the course of my lectures until the last day, if anyone here can locate and awaken my vital spot, I will give them a special reward. What kind of special reward? Someone couldn't hold their excitement and asked. That will be up to you to find out, he responded with a smile. After dismissing the junior disciples, Su Yang said to Lan Liking, "Why don't we head back and continue our business?" Lan Liking smiled and whispered in his ears, "My little flower has been soaking wet ever since you awakened the lust in my body." Su Yang chuckled and said nothing else before taking Lan Liking back to his room, where they cultivated intensely for the remainder of the day. 7th level of the Earth Spirit Realm, huh? You have grown a lot. This was only possible because of your Yang Qi, Su Yang. Lan Liking smiled. Because of his rich and powerful Yang Qi, Lan Liking's cultivation base has experienced tremendous growth. In fact, all of the disciples that have cultivated with him felt as though they were a carp leaping through the dragon's gate afterward. By the way, your Yang Qi feels and tastes different than usual. Did something happen? Lan Liking asked him after noticing this change. While she can tell that it's definitely of higher quality than previously, unlike Fang Zhelan, she wasn't able to see Su Yang's heavenly spirit realm cultivation base even after tasting it. A slight breakthrough, Su Yang casually answered with a smile on his face. Chapter 293. Cheating. A week has passed since Su Yang's first lecture, and the junior disciples returned for the second lecture without a single one of them missing. "I want everyone to have a different partner this time," said Su Yang. The junior disciples immediately began looking for a new partner. Sometime later, once everyone has a partner, Su Yang spoke. "Good. Now repeat what we did last week and prove to me that you have been studying properly." 1 minute later, when Su Yang saw that everybody there had their fingers pointed to a specific spot on their partner's back, he nodded in approval. "Although half of you took longer than half a minute to find your partner's vital spot, I am glad to see this big of an improvement from all of you. With that being said, none of you managed to awaken the vital spot, so you still have much to learn." A few moments later, the roles switched, and those who poked are now being poked by their partner. And just like the first group, everybody there managed to find their partner's vital spot. What's more, there was someone who even managed to awaken their partner's vital spot, causing the junior disciple to fall to his knees. "Senior apprentice brother, I would like to try and find your vital spot now." The junior disciple who awakened her partner's vital spot immediately raised her hand after the test ended. "Very well." Su Yang smiled when he saw the confident expression on Qi Yue's face. He then proceeded to sit down and continued speaking. "I will give you 3 minutes to find my vital spot. If you manage to find it within these 3 minutes, I will give you an additional 5 minutes to try and awaken it." "So much time?" the junior disciples gasped. However, Qi Yue knew that Su Yang had given her this much time only because he's confident that she won't be able to obtain his special reward today. A few moments later, Qi Yue stood behind Su Yang and focused her eyes on his back. Fingers of Fulfillment consisted of 2 techniques, one to see these vital spots and the other to awaken it. The time limit of 3 minutes have passed, yet Qi Yue had stood there the entire time without moving a single muscle. Why can't I see it, even though I can see all of my partner's vital spots with ease? Qi Yue asked him in a mumbling voice, experiencing the taste of defeat in her mouth. Su Yang smiled and said, like cultivation bases and profound qi, one can hide it from the view of others if they desire. Qi Yue's mouth dropped after hearing his explanation. But that's cheating. How am I supposed to find your vital spot if you purposefully hide it from me? Qi Yue expressed this injustice. Su Yang burst out laughing and said, did you think that I would let you find my vital spot and earn my special reward so easily? You are too naive. After a moment of silence, Su Yang continued, however, with that being said, it's not like I am going all out trying to hide my vital spots. As long as you are proficient with the technique to a certain point, you will see it. After all, if he truly wanted to conceal his vital spots, then nobody on this planet would be able to find them. Is that so? Qi Yue was no longer as depressed after hearing his words, as there was still a chance for them to find his vital spot. Su Yang then looked at the class and said, if you want to challenge me, you will have to at least be able to find your partner's vital spots at first glance. Anyway, there won't be anything new for today's lecture, so just keep practicing on each other. If you want to challenge me during any time, just say so. Su Yang sat down on the stage and closed his eyes, removing his presence from the class, and the junior disciples proceeded to practice their fingers of fulfillment on each other while constantly switching partners for the next hour. During this hour, a few junior disciples have challenged Su Yang, but alas, none of them were able to see his vital spots at the end. After a few more minutes, Su Yang opened his eyes and dismissed the class until next week. The time passed quickly, and before they even realized it, it was already time for Su Yang's third lecture to begin. Senior apprentice brother, I would like to try finding your vital spot again. Qi Yue challenged him the moment he arrived at the lecture hall. Su Yang did not say anything and only nodded before sitting down. Qi Yue proceeded to stand behind him and focused her eyes on his back again. 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. In the last few seconds before the 3 minutes were up, Qi Yue's eyes flickered with a profound light, and in the next second, she raised one of her fingers to point at a certain spot on Su Yang's back that was near the center of his lower back. I found it. I found your vital spot, senior apprentice brother. Qi Yue announced with excitement and a bright smile that was filled with joy on her face. Whoa! The junior disciples began cheering in excitement for her after witnessing Qi Yue's tremendous growth with the technique. Su Yang also smiled and he spoke, very good. Now you have 5 minutes to awaken it. Qi Yue nodded and returned to her serious face. She then focused some of her profound qi onto the tip of her finger before poking Su Yang's vital spot with her little finger. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. 5 minutes later, Qi Yue stood there with her body and face full of sweat while taking deep breaths. Haya. No matter how much she tried awakening Su Yang's vital spot, it remained perfectly intact, and it felt like she was trying to break open a steel safe with a wooden hammer. Nice try. Su Yang said to her before standing up to look at her with a mysterious smile on his handsome face. Chapter 290. For a world of pleasure. Although Qi Yue was unable to awaken his vital spot, Su Yang was slightly impressed by her progress with the fingers of fulfillment technique. If he had to compare her to her fellow disciples, she would be a dozen steps ahead of them. How do you feel? He asked her. Exhausted. Qi Yue spoke in a low voice. That's because you tried to awaken my vital spot forcefully with your profound qi. Su Yang shook his head. That will only drain your energy without any results. So who else wants to try? Su Yang turned to the junior disciples and asked with a provoking smile on his face. Me. I want to try. The junior disciples there began raising their hands one by one. Su Yang nodded and allowed these junior disciples to challenge him. However, half an hour later, nobody else besides Qi Yue was able to locate his vital spot, much less awaken it. That being said, it was not as though they didn't know the location, as Qi Yue had pointed it out before them. However, despite knowing the exact location, they were unable to see the vital spot. Even if you know its exact location, if you cannot see it yourself, then there's zero chance of you awakening the vital spot, Su Yang said to them afterward. Anyway, now that everyone here has grasped the basics, I have a question for you. Who here has seen more than one vital spot on a single individual? Raise your hand. A few moments later, more than half of these junior disciples raised their hands. Good. Now keep your hands up if you saw more than 2 vital spots at once. After he said those words, more than half of those with their hands raised lowered their hands. What about 3? By this point, only 3 junior disciples had their hands in the air. 4. Upon hearing those words, 2 of these 3 junior disciples lowered their hands, and only Qi Yue remained with her hands still in the air, something Su Yang had expected before this even started. What's the most vital spot you have seen on one person? He asked her. 7, Qi Yue answered with a proud voice. Good. Then do you know why I am asking you this? Qi Yue nodded and said, I realized that more I understood this technique, the more vital spots I was able to see from my partners. Su Yang nodded and said, every human has at least one vital spot, but some people have only one. However, one little secret this technique comes with is that you can create more of these vital spots. In fact, if you can master this technique, you will be able to awaken your partner from touching anywhere on their body, even places that are not their vital spots. Despite saying such words, Su Yang did not have any expectations for any of them to reach such mastery with his fingers of fulfillment technique. Anyway, we will be doing something different today. Su Yang retrieved a paper scroll from his storage ring and continued, although all of you have already familiarized yourself with the fingers of fulfillment technique, it is in fact only half of the full technique. What? The junior disciples expressed shock upon hearing his words. They have been cultivating an incomplete technique for the last 3 weeks. The reason I only gave you half of the technique is simple. The second half is too profound for you to comprehend by yourselves, and it would only overwhelm you, perhaps even make a mess inside of your mind. The junior disciples trembled in fear. They did not expect this technique to be so frightening and profound, as it was neither a combat technique nor anything complicated. However, after watching you guys grow for the last month, I can say for certain that you are ready for the second part of the technique, a world of pleasure. A world of pleasure. The junior disciples unconsciously mumbled the technique's name that carried a mysterious feeling. The first part, fingers of pleasure, will allow you to pleasure your partner with ease. The second part, a world of pleasure, will allow you to experience a whole new world with your partner. However, you guys are still too young to use this technique in practice, so I will only give you a taste of this technique in your mind. Su Yang released the seal on the scroll and opened it. All of you sit down in the lotus position and cultivate right now, said Su Yang. The junior disciples immediately sat down and closed their eyes to cultivate. A few moments later, Su Yang began reading the scroll in his hands, and a mysterious atmosphere quickly appeared around the lecture hall. As Su Yang continued to read this scroll, images began appearing inside the head of these junior disciples. These images grew more realistic as time passed, and before they were aware, it had become these junior disciples' reality, something akin to a realistic dream. As for what kind of dreams they were having, only the individual dreaming would know, as everyone there was having a dream that was unique to them. Time passed quickly, and by the time these junior disciples began opening their eyes, there were already starry stars flickering in the night sky. Senior apprentice brother, that was. All of the junior disciples looked at him with a flushed face, looking like they'd just experienced something otherworldly and exhausting at the same time. Did you enjoy it? Su Yang asked them with a mysterious smile. They slowly nodded their heads with a weird expression on their faces. That is the kind of world you will be living in once you become an adult, so until then, study hard so that you will not disappoint your partners. One more thing, Su Yang suddenly narrowed his eyes, emitting a menacing aura. I forbid all of you to use a world of pleasure before becoming an adult. If you disobey this rule, I will curse your life so that you will never be able to experience pleasure again. Do you understand? The junior disciples immediately nod their heads with sweat flying off their faces, as they were terrified by Su Yang's expression. After seeing them agree, Su Yang's expression returned to normal, and he spoke with a smile. Then I will see you all again in a week. Chapter 295 Sect Master's Observation. Once the junior disciples left the lecture hall, they began speaking to each other about their experiences during the lecture. Hey. Sister Chi, you also experienced that during the lecture, right? Chi Yue blushed when her fellow disciple asked. Who was your partner? Was it senior apprentice brother too? Chi Yue looked at her with wide eyes and spoke. You mean you also did that with senior apprentice brother in your dream? The disciple nodded. It was amazing. I cannot wait to grow up and experience the real thing now. Chi Yue then looked at one of the male disciples and asked them. Hey, who was your partner during your dream? The male disciple blushed and did not say a word for a good moment. Chi Yue frowned and asked another male disciple. However, it was the same result, as the male disciple refused to answer her question. This baffled Chi Yue. Why would they refuse to answer such a simple question? Would it shame them for letting people know? After pressed the same question to a few more male disciples, Chi Yue finally got an answer. My partner was my childhood friend back at home. I was really surprised to see her in my dream, even doing that with me. Chi Yue decided to ask a few more male disciples the same question and received similar answers. Maybe the partner in our dream is someone we admire. Chi Yue came to this conclusion after speaking with many disciples. The junior disciples all went home and continued to cultivate fingers of pleasure, as they were forbid to practice a world of pleasure. Another week has passed, and it's been a month since Su Yang became an instructor for the junior disciples. It's been a month since then. I wonder how they are doing. Liu Lanjai looked out the window and mumbled to herself. A moment later, she decided to give Su Yang a visit during his lecture. Although she does not know what he's been teaching these junior disciples, she knew that he would hold a lecture once a week, and today will be his fourth lecture. Sometime later, Liu Lanjai left the Yin-Yang Pavilion and headed to the lecture hall within the inner court. When the junior disciples noticed Liu Lanjai's presence, they immediately greeted her. Is your instructor not here yet? Liu Lanjai asked them. Senior apprentice brother should be here any minute now. Hum. Liu Lanjai pondered for a second before asking them. What do you guys think of him as an instructor? The junior disciples exchanged glances before speaking simultaneously. We love him. Liu Lanjai was slightly taken aback by their words and said, you don't have to lie about it, you know. If you're scared to talk bad about him, I can guarantee you that you will not be in trouble. The junior disciples exchanged glances again, looking slightly puzzled. Was the sect master hoping that Su Yang would be a bad instructor? We are not lying, sect master. Chi Yue stepped forward and spoke. We really love senior apprentice brother as an instructor. In fact, he's better than any instructor I have had before. Me too. I have learned more from senior apprentice brother than any other instructors before him. Liu Lanjai became speechless, as she did not expect these junior disciples to hold Su Yang with such high regard. If their previous instructors were here to hear their words, they would surely cry. I understand. Liu Lanjai gave up on trying to find something to complain to Su Yang about and walked to the back of the lecture hall. Do not mind me. I am only here to spectate, she said to the junior disciples. A few minutes later, Su Yang appeared in the lecture hall. Sect master, Su Yang greeted her the moment he saw her slender figure leaning on the wall at the back of the lecture hall. Don't mind me. I am only here to watch. Just carry on like you usually do. Su Yang nodded and continued, before class starts. Do I have any challengers? Liu Lanjai immediately raised an eyebrow. What is he talking about? I want to try again. Chi Yue and a few more junior disciples immediately raised their hand. A few moments later, Chi Yue stood behind Su Yang and stared at his back, which puzzled Liu Lanjai, who is completely unaware of the situation. A few moments later, Chi Yue raised her hand to poke Su Yang in the lower back. Liu Lanjai, who was very interested in what they were doing, walked next to them and closely inspected their every movement. However, even after watching for many minutes, Liu Lanjai did not learn anything and only became even more confused. What on earth are they doing? Liu Lanjai could see that Chi Yue was focusing her profound chi on the finger she was using to poke Su Yang's back, but what purpose does such action serve? She cannot comprehend it. 5 minutes later, Chi Yue removed her finger from Su Yang's back and sighed with a defeated expression. I give up. After Chi Yue left the stage, the next disciple began staring at Su Yang's back, almost like she was obsessed with his back. However, unlike Chi Yue, this junior disciple did not poke Su Yang's back with her finger and left the stage 3 minutes later. This situation repeated itself until all of the junior disciples on the stage left with a defeated expression. After all of the junior disciples left the stage, Liu Lanjai asked Su Yang, what were you guys doing just now? Su Yang smiled and replied, if you cannot figure it out by the end of the lecture, I will tell you, Liu Lanjai frowned and said, good. I will accept your challenge, Liu Lanjai then returned to standing at the back of the lecture hall. However, her gaze was much sharper than before, almost like she was glaring at the entire class, which made the junior disciples feel somewhat unpleasant. Chapter 296 Confidence. Although the results were the same as last week, I noticed some improvements, so keep it up. Anyway, I have nothing new for today, so you can start practicing among yourselves. That being said, if you work hard enough, I might show you guys a good dream, if you get what I mean. When the junior disciples heard such words, their eyes flickered with excitement and anticipation. After what they experienced during the last lecture, it has been stuck in their minds like some kind of curse, and they have been wondering if Su Yang will do something like that again since then. The junior disciples wasted no time and quickly found their partners before practicing fingers of fulfillment on each other. Witnessing this odd scene, Liu Lanjai made a weird expression. All they are doing is staring at each other's back before poking a specific location. I cannot understand the situation based on this. However, when Liu Lanjai noticed the satisfied expression on some of these disciples' faces after being poked by their partners, a thought immediately appeared in her mind. They are experiencing pleasure, but they are only being poked in their back. It's almost like. Liu Lanjai's eyes widened as she came to a realization. She then approached Su Yang and asked him, "Did you teach them your massage techniques?" Su Yang merely smiled and said, although I did not tell them this technique can indeed be used in such a manner. Liu Lanjai looked at him with a dumbfounded expression. She cannot imagine what the Profound Blossom Sect would be like in the future if all 70 of these junior disciples grow up with such a technique, as it would be akin to having 70 miniature Su Yang. W. What else did you teach them? Liu Lanjai then asked. Because of the restrictions due to their young age, I can only teach them so much, so I taught them this technique to use for the future, where the Profound Blossom Sect will surely flourish. Su Yang, Liu Lanjai looked at him with a profound expression on her face. How can you be so confident in this place when it has such an incompetent sect master? Su Yang smiled slightly and said, I think you are misunderstanding something. My confidence is not in this place but in myself. Liu Lanjai's eyes widened with shock. What do you mean by that? She asked. It's simple. As long as I am here, I am confident that this place will flourish. Liu Lanjai became speechless, but her current expression says a lot about her feelings to Su Yang's words. After a moment of silence, she spoke. How arrogant and egotistical of you, Su Yang. Are you implying that as long as you are here, the Profound Blossom Sect is bound to be successful? There's no need for implications, as those were my exact words. He continued speaking. You may be laughing at me in your heart right now, but I will show you. The regional tournament is just a few months away, and if you are still laughing after that, I will lower my head and do whatever you want. I have no reason to laugh. If you believe such a thing, I will also believe it with you, as you have already proved yourself plenty of times by now. I have high expectations of you, Su Yang. I'm flattered. Su Yang chuckled. 2 hours later, Su Yang clapped his hand and spoke. This is it for today. However, if you wish to stay a bit longer for extra lectures, I will gladly extend today's lecture for a few more hours for those individuals. I will stay. Me too. All of the junior disciples decided to remain there without needing any time to think about it. Very well. Su Yang then retrieved a scroll from his storage ring. When the junior disciples saw this scroll, their expressions brightened, and many of them immediately began grinning. What is going on? Liu Lanjai looked at these disciples' weird reactions to the scroll. Go ahead and get in the lotus position. A few seconds later, when all of the disciples closed their eyes, Su Yang opened the scroll and began reading it. This is. Liu Lanjai was greatly shocked when the atmosphere suddenly changed. What on earth did Su Yang do to cause this change? However, since Liu Lanjai did not cultivate the first part of the technique fingers of fulfillment, she did not experience what these junior disciples are currently experiencing. A few minutes later, when these disciples began dreaming, Liu Lanjai was dumbfounded by their gleeful expressions, looking like they were having the time of their life right now. Liu Lanjai looked at Su Yang, who was walking back and forth on the stage while reading the scroll. While she wanted to question him, she was afraid to interrupt him and these junior disciples, so she resisted her urges and remained silent, quietly watching these disciples from the back. A few hours later, these junior disciples finally opened their eyes. Unlike their first time, this session did not last the entire day. As I had expected, it was senior apprentice brother who appeared in my dreams. Qi Yue said to herself as she stared at Su Yang with eyes of admiration and a flushed face. In fact, pretty much all of the female disciples there were looking at Su Yang at this moment with a similar expression to Qi Yue, as they all had Su Yang as their partner in their dream. You have 3 more lectures left. That's all I have for today, said Su Yang before he dismissed the class. Once the junior disciples left, Liu Lanjai approached Su Yang and asked, What happened during these few hours? It's nothing much. I only showed them a dream. Liu Lanjai became puzzled and continued to ask, Can you explain it with slightly better details? Su Yang smiled and said, Although they are still too young to cultivate, it does not mean I cannot teach them about it, so I showed them some images in their head regarding that something akin to a dream. Liu Lanjai instantly became speechless. "You are unbelievable," she mumbled after a long moment of silence. Chapter 297 Last lecture. Another 2 weeks passed since Liu Lanjai observed Su Yang's lecture with the junior disciples. However, even at the end of the 6th lecture, none of the junior disciples managed to awaken Su Yang's vital spot. "There's only 1 week left." The junior disciples felt that such an accomplishment was impossible. "What do you think, Sister Qi? You are the most experienced with the technique out of all of us. Do you think you have a chance to awaken senior apprentice brother's vital spot?" The junior disciples turned to look at Qi Yue, their only hopes in defeating Su Yang. Qi Yue did not immediately answer and pondered for a moment before speaking. "Although I cannot be certain, I feel as though I almost awakened senior apprentice brother's vital spot today, like a hair width away." "Then you'll surely awaken it by next week and earn this special reward." "I hope so." Qi Yue sighed, thinking to herself that if she had another month of practice, then she will surely awaken Su Yang's vital spot. However, time was limited and she only has 1 week before Su Yang's lectures come to an end. With that being said, despite the slim chances, Qi Yue practiced around the clock for the entire week until it was time for the 7th and final lecture. 1 week later. "Today's lecture will be the last one," said Su Yang as he appeared in the lecture hall. The junior disciples today did not seem excited about this lecture, as this would be their last one. "Senior apprentice brother, do you have to stop after today? I want you to continue being our instructor." One of the junior disciples expressed her desire, and other junior disciples agreed with her. Su Yang smiled and said, "To tell you the truth, the only reason I became an instructor in the first place is because the sect master had decided to punish me for a mistake I had made. However, even before the punishment, I wanted to leave behind some of my knowledge to you, junior disciples, who will be the future of this place." Su Yang revealed to them the truth. However, the junior disciples did not seem to care about the circumstances of how he became their instructor. All they wanted right now was for him to continue being one. "Although I won't be your instructor after today, if you have any questions, feel free to find me. As long as I am still in this place, I will help you." Su Yang made it sound like he will not be in this place forever, and the junior disciples noticed it. However, they did not ask any questions and only nodded. "Since today is the last day, I will not accept any challenges until the very end of the lecture. And even if you are confident that you won't be able to awaken my vital spot, I want everybody to challenge me." Su Yang started the lecture a few moments later. And for the next few hours, Su Yang would give advice to every junior disciple individually. After watching them for nearly 2 months, he has grasped their strengths and weakness as an individual and with the technique, so he knew how to help them improve their techniques along with other things that were not related to cultivation. After giving all 70 junior disciples advice, each with their unique guidance, Su Yang clapped his hand and said, "I want everybody to line up and challenge me." A few moments later, the junior disciples lined up and began using fingers of fulfillment on Su Yang. However, knowing that the lecture will end after this last event, none of the junior disciples were happy. A few more hours later, once all but one junior disciple has challenged Su Yang, the final disciple to challenge him, Qi Yue, stepped onto the stage. Of course, none of the junior disciples that went before Qi Yue were able to awaken Su Yang's vital spot. However, after 7 weeks of practice, all of them managed to at least to see Su Yang's vital spot. "Are you ready?" Su Yang asked Qi Yue, who stood behind him with a serious expression. Su Yang began the timer after seeing Qi Yue nod. "You may begin." A second after Su Yang said those words, Qi Yue already found his vital spot and prepared to awaken it. However, Qi Yue did not immediately try to awaken his vital spot and stood there silently, quietly preparing herself. After standing still for a few minutes, when her 5 minutes was almost up, Qi Yue's eyes flickered with a profound light, and she poked Su Yang's vital spot with her finger in a swift and precise movement. The entire place turned silent, and everybody was watching Su Yang's reaction with wide eyes at this moment. However, when Su Yang did not show any reaction even many moments later, the junior disciples sighed in defeat. So we were unable to awaken senior apprentice brother's vital spot in the end. What a pity. There's nothing we can do about it. Qi Yue removed her finger from Su Yang's back a moment later, her face filled with disappointment. She thought that she would surely be able to awaken Su Yang's vital spot after all of her training, but alas, it seems like she has underestimated Su Yang. As Qi Yue began walking off the stage with a dejected look, Su Yang smiled and spoke. Although it was only slightly, I felt a tingling sensation in my body. Qi Yue immediately turned around and stared at him with wide eyes. "Congratulations on awakening my vital spot," Su Yang said to her and continued. "For your reward, as long as I can fulfill it, you may request anything from me." Slightly dazed by the unexpected result, Qi Yue stood there silently for a moment. Then. "If it's not too much to ask, can I ask senior apprentice brother to continue giving us lectures? It doesn't have to be once a week. Even if it's just once a month, I will be happy." Su Yang chuckled and said, "Of course, you will request something like that. Not that it's something I did not expect, though. Very well, I will continue giving you guys lectures every week." Upon hearing this news, the junior disciples erupted with excitement, and Joy Chapter 298 preparing for the regional tournament after he dismissed the junior disciples. Su Yang returned to his living quarters, where he would spend the next few weeks cultivating, until there was only 1 month left before the regional tournament's opening ceremony. One day, Liu Lanjai called for Su Yang and all of the disciples that would be participating in the regional tournament. A few minutes later, 10 disciples, including Su Yang, gathered in front of the Yin-Yang Pavilion, where Liu Lanjai and a few other sect elders have been waiting for them. "The reason I gathered all of you here today is simple. The regional tournament is exactly 1 month away, and we have to register our Profound Blossom Sect as a participant," said Liu Lanjai after they all arrived. "However, before we can even register our names, we have to ensure that we actually qualify to participate, or we will only look like fools when we get there. Therefore, I want to see whether or not you qualify." Liu Lanjai then looked at Su Yang and spoke. "Although I did not check on them because I had faith in you, do you have anything to say before we start?" Su Yang calmly shook his head. "Very well, show me your cultivation bases." Upon hearing her words, the 6 outer court disciples that have been in Su Yang's care released their cultivation base, causing a profound aura to surround them. True Spirit Realm. Not just Liu Lanjai but Elder Zhao and Elder Sun were also shocked speechless by their tremendous growth. In less than half a year, all 6 of them managed to reach the true spirit realm from the elementary spirit realm. This far exceeds my expectations. Liu Lanjai trembled in excitement when she saw her disciples' growth. Out of the blue, the Profound Blossom Sect has gained 6 more individuals that qualify to be core disciples. What on earth did you do for them to grow so quickly, Su Yang?" Elder Sun asked him with a dazed look. "What? I only cultivated with them normally." Su Yang shrugged. Bullshit. Even if you continuously feed them precious resources every day for the last few months, they shouldn't have grown so quick." Elder Zhao refuted as even he couldn't believe it. "Whether you believe it or not does not matter, as all that matter is the result. And what's the result? They are now qualified to participate in the regional tournament." Su Yang is right. Although she didn't want to admit it, Liu Lanjai had to agree with Su Yang in this case. No matter how he managed such a miracle, all the matters are the result. Suddenly, while Liu Lanjai and the sect elders were dumbfounded by the 6 disciples' growth, Sun Jingjing released her own cultivation base, causing a powerful presence to appear. Earth Spirit Realm. Elder Sun's jaw dropped to the ground when Sun Jingjing revealed her cultivation base. How could this be possible? She was only at the second level of the true spirit realm just a few weeks ago. Elder Sun thought to himself. To think his granddaughter would surpass his own cultivation base so easily. Her future is limitless. When Sun Jingjing saw the shocked gazes staring at her, she showed them a prideful smile, clearly proud of her achievements. In fact, after giving Su Yang her purity, Sun Jingjing has been cultivating with Su Yang almost every day. And with the help of some euphoric oil and other cultivation resources provided by Su Yang, Sun Jingjing barely managed to reach the Earth Spirit Realm just a few days ago. Liu Lanjai stood there with a blank face at this moment, as she was unsure of how she should react to this situation. The previous 6 disciples' growth was already more than enough to shock her speechless, yet Sun Jingjing actually managed to reach the Earth Spirit Realm at such a young age. At this rate, Sun Jingjing will surely surpass even herself within a few more months. Liu Lanjai proceeded to turn to look at Fang Zhelan, who was standing there with a calm expression on her face, looking as though she was not even slightly surprised by their growth one bit. What cultivation base is she at right now? Since she was already at the peak of the true spirit realm way before this. Maybe she is already above me, the sect master in cultivation. Liu Lanjai pondered inwardly. However, because she did not want to confirm it, even feeling slightly afraid of the result, Liu Lanjai decided to end the inspection early and said, "Okay, I understand you are all qualified for the regional tournament. Now we just have to register for the tournament. Therefore, we will be heading to the place where the tournament will take place, Snowfall City." We are going there now." Finding this quite sudden, Sun Jingjing asked. "No, we will leave in 3 days, so use this time to prepare." Liu Lanjai responded. Elder Zhao chimed in on the conversation and explained it with more details. The registration for the regional tournament has already started, and it will end 2 weeks before the start of the tournament. It will take us approximately 7 days to reach Snowfall City, leaving us with just a few days to register. What's more, once we arrive at Snowfall City, we will remain there until the entire thing is over, so prepare accordingly. Do you have any questions for us? Who will be coming with us to Snowfall City? Fang Zhelan asked. Everybody here except Elder Zhao will be going to Snowfall City. Furthermore, if there are any disciple that wish to follow us so they can watch the tournament, we will also bring them along, said Liu Lanjai. Besides Liu Lanjai and Elder Sun, there were 3 other sect elders there. Because of security reasons, and due to their lack of personnel, Liu Lanjai had to limit her choices in who to bring, as she did not want to leave the Profound Blossom Sect vulnerable during their travel. Anyway, we will meet at this exact place 3 days from now. Liu Lanjai dismissed them before leaving to prepare for the regional tournament. Chapter 299, Heavenly Swan Sect. After the disciples left, the strength in Liu Lanjai's legs disappeared, causing her to fall on her butt. Sect Master, the sect elders were startled by her sudden fall. I'm fine, Liu Lanjai waved her hands. I am just a little bit too shocked. The sect elders exchanged glanced. They were also feeling similar emotions, albeit not as profound as Liu Lanjai. I understand your feelings, sect master, as I still cannot believe it, Elder Zhao sighed. They left these disciples alone for the last few months in hopes of a surprise, but little did they expect a shock at this magnitude. Just how did Su Yang manage this miracle? Even though dual cultivation is much faster in terms of growth than normal cultivation, this kind of growth is simply ridiculous. I cannot imagine how he did it, Elder Sun also sighed. I have a feeling that it would be for the best if we didn't find out, said Liu Lanjai as she stood back up. What do you mean by that, sect master? If we can figure out how Su Yang is helping these disciples' cultivation bases soar, we can use it to our advantage in the future for all of our disciples. At that time, it won't be a dream to be at the top, Elder Zhao said. Liu Lanjai shook her head. If you think it's that easy to make Su Yang talk, you can go ahead and try. However, if you offend him and force him to leave this place, how will you take responsibility? Although I do not want to make it sound so exaggerated, the entire Profound Blossom Sect's future is resting on his shoulders at this moment. Elder Zhao immediately turned quiet, as he did not think this through. Su Yang is the only male disciple that is capable of dual cultivating with the female disciples currently, and if he were to leave, who else will be these female disciples' partner? And this is not even mentioning the contribution Su Yang is giving to the sect. How Su Yang is helping these disciples are none of our business or concern. In fact, don't even think about it. All we need to know is the contribution is he putting in for our Profound Blossom Sect. Yes, sect master, the sect elders there nodded. Despite saying such words, Liu Lanjai couldn't help but sigh in her heart, as she knew that Su Yang will have to leave someday when the Su family finally decides to take him back. Meanwhile, inside Su Yang's living quarters. Xiao Rong, I will be gone for 1 month. I need you to stay here just in case something happens, Su Yang said to Xiao Rong, who was casually sleeping on the bed. If there are intruders or people who have malicious intentions towards this place, you may kill them. Yes, master. For an immortal beast such as Xiao Rong, 1 month's worth of time was akin to a few minutes, so she didn't have any problem staying here for that long. After news of the regional tournament began to spread within the sect, pretty much every junior disciple and a few regular disciples asked for permission to follow them, so that they can watch. And because these disciples would not affect their security at the Profound Blossom Sect, even if they all left, as their low cultivation bases would not make any difference whether they were there or not, Liu Lanjai agreed to bring them along. For the next 3 days, the disciples of the Profound Blossom Sect prepared for their travel. However, it was not just the Profound Blossom Sect that was preparing for the regional tournament, as dozens of sects all over the eastern continent were preparing for this humongous event that may affect the future of their sect at this moment. Meanwhile, at the Su family, Su Yin, please come out. The Heavenly Swan sect has sent someone here to pick you up for the regional tournament. Su Zun stood outside Su Yin's room, shouting for her to come out. Ever since Su Yang's visit, Su Yin has holed herself inside her room, and fueled by her hatred towards Qiyu, who she still believes to be the cause of Su Yang's change in character, she cultivated like a madman, hoping to attain the power to rescue her beloved elder brother from her. Sometime later, the door finally opened, and Su Yin slowly walked out of the room. Su Yin. Su Zun was shocked to see Su Yin's appearance, who looked as though she's been deprived of sleep for many days. Are you okay? He unconsciously asked her. However, when Su Zun suddenly noticed her profound aura, his eyes widened with shock. Peak true spirit realm. Su Zun nearly fell on his butt. After 6 months of closed cultivation, Su Yin's cultivation base has skyrocketed from the 3rd level of the true spirit realm to the peak of the true spirit realm. The speed at which she progressed was shocking, to say the least. However, as ecstatic as he was for his daughter's growth, Su Zun couldn't help but worry if Su Yin may have been pushing herself too hard. Su Yin, Elder Chen is waiting for you in the living room. The regional tournament is less than a month away, and she's here to take you to Snowfall City to register. Su Yin nodded and went to meet up with this Elder Chen. Peak true spirit realm. When Elder Chen saw Su Yin's cultivation base, just like Su Zun, her eyes widened with shock. Su Yin is only 15 years old, yet she's managed to reach the peak of the true spirit realm. Such talent is incredibly rare even within the largest sects in this continent, and if nurtured properly, her future will be limitless. What are we waiting for, Elder Chen? Let's hurry to Snowfall City. Su Yin spoke to her, who was in a daze. All right. W8, I am coming too. Just as they were leaving, Su Zun and a few servants appeared behind them, as they planned to be at the regional tournament to cheer on Su Yin Chapter 300. There's a place and time for this. 3 days later at the Profound Blossom Sect, around 80 people gathered in front of the sect. I will say this before the regional tournament begins, but no matter your results, I will be proud of you. Of course, it would be better for the Profound Blossom Sect if you win a few rounds. With that being said, don't push yourself too hard, as I cannot afford to lose any of you here, said Liu Lanjai. Although the regional tournament prohibits slaughter, accidents happen, so there are still risks involved. Yes, sect master. The disciples responded with excitement. Okay, now for the arrangements. Liu Lanjai pointed to the dozen of carriages waiting outside the entrance, all large enough to fit over 5-6 individuals. The sect elders and I will be inside the first carriage. All of the participants will ride in the second and third carriage at the front, whilst everybody else will take the remaining carriages. Before the carriages left, the people that will be staying behind in the Profound Blossom Sect bid farewell. Good luck, disciples. Lan Liking smiled at them with a beautiful expression, her gaze mainly on the carriage that was carrying Su Yang. A few minutes later, the carriages carrying the disciples left the Profound Blossom Sect. Meanwhile, inside the carriage carrying Su Yang and 5 other disciples, Sun Jingjing spoke. What do you think the chances of the Profound Blossom Sect winning this regional tournament will be? It's my first time participating in such a large event. Although there will be many cultivators at the true spirit realm and even some earth spirit realm geniuses, I cannot see the Profound Blossom Sect losing this regional tournament, no matter what. Fang Zhelin gave her opinion, the corner of her eyes looking at Su Yang, who was casually sitting in the middle with his eyes closed. Oh, right. Senior apprentice sister Fang was at the last one, Fang Zhenlin nodded. With that being said, the Profound Blossom Sect lost the last one, and it was not a small loss. In fact, out of the dozens of sects that participated, the Profound Blossom Sect was dead last. What makes senior apprentice sister Fang think that we will win this regional tournament? Such confidence must have a reason, Sun Jingjing asked her. You will understand when the time comes. Fang Zhenlin responded with a nonchalant expression. Unless another monster with a heavenly spirit realm cultivation appears in the regional tournament to match Su Yang's presence, besides victory, there's no other possible outcome for the Profound Blossom Sect. Is that so? Anyway, we have 7 whole days before we reach Snowfall City. What should we do until then? Sun Jingjing, who was not the type to sit around doing nothing, asked them. The other disciples in the carriage exchanged glances. What can they do in this small place? It was at this moment Su Yang opened his eyes, and he spoke with a smile on his face. I have a suggestion, HM. What is it? Why don't we cultivate until we reach our destination? There's still a month before the regional tournament. We can use this time to increase our cultivation bases as much as possible, The people there looked at him with a dumbfounded face. Why you want to cultivate? Although I support that idea, where are we going to find a place for that? Sun Jingjing asked. Place. This carriage has plenty of room. Su Yang calmly responded. The carriage turned dead silent. You want to cultivate here, but that would mean the girls in the carriage exchanged awkward glances. Although everyone there has cultivated with Su Yang before, they have never done it with another presence there, much less this many people. After a moment of silence, one of the disciples spoke, I don't mind, when the first one agreed like a ripple effect, the rest also agreed soon after. This is getting quite exciting, I would have never imagined that I'd be cultivating in the same room as senior apprentice sister Fang Sun Jingjing chuckled. While she remained calm on the outside, Fang Zhelin was also slightly excited by the situation, especially when this is the first time that she will have to share her partner with others during her cultivation session. Then without further ado Su Yang without any warning began loosening his robes. Who's first? He asked with a smile. Meanwhile, inside the sect master's carriage, one of the sect elders asked. Sect master, what are the chances of the Profound Blossom Sect winning this year's regional tournament? Despite the tremendous growth in our disciples, the chances of us winning the regional tournament is very small. Our disciples will have to fight against geniuses from other bigger and more powerful sects, ones that properly train their disciples for combat, something our Profound Blossom Sect severely lacks. One core weakness of the disciples from the Profound Blossom Sect is that they spend all of their time cultivating without caring for their combat prowess. Hence why the Profound Blossom Sect lost miserably last time despite their high cultivation bases. In the future, if we can truly restore our Profound Blossom Sect to its former state, I will have to ensure that our disciples will be trained properly. Liu Lanjai sighed inwardly. Speaking of the regional tournament, the princess of the Zai family will be there, right? One of the sect elders asked. That's correct. However, this will be a problem for us, as her presence will cause the other participants to be more serious and deadly. Just to impress her, huh? Our disciples will have it rough this time, perhaps even more so than the last regional tournament. Suddenly, the sound of someone moaning entered their carriage. What the foo. The sect elders exchanged glances upon hearing this familiar yet puzzling sound. Liu Lanjai frowned and used her profound qi to figure out the situation, and the instant she looked inside the carriage carrying Su Yang and realized the situation, her face became stupefied. The other sect elders also realized the situation a few moments later. This Su Yang is a madman. He's actually cultivating with the disciples inside the carriage. One of the sect elders exclaimed, her voice filled with disbelief and admiration for his courage. There's a place and time for this. This is too shameless even for our disciples. That bastard, making my granddaughter do something like this. He has no shame. Elder son trembled in anger. However, as much as he wanted to burst into their carriage and stop this farce, he resisted his urge, as he did not want to be hated by Sun Jingjing for such actions.